Hello and welcome to another stream where we have some news today, and I promise we're actually going to get to playing Trails this time. I promise. So I'm not going to yap too long on it this time, so that we actually do have time, meaningful time, to actually play the game. But there is some good stuff that has come out. Some stuff that, because at first there wasn't any like real news today, and then more and more articles have been coming out. So I was like, okay, we have to talk about some of this because some of it is just too interesting to not talk about. So I just want to touch on it really fast before we get to Trails. So I'll do that. Crossy, everyone else, thank you so much for joining. John Q Gamer, thank you so much for joining. Dark Cloud, thank you for joining. So yeah, I want to touch on this before we get into the game because I think this is some really interesting stuff. It seems to indicate yet again my current working theory that Creative Studio 1 are indeed the ones working on Final Fantasy 17. That really shouldn't come as any surprise to veteran Final Fantasy fans, really, I don't think. Because if you know anything about this series, then you know that not since Final Fantasy 8, 7 and 8, I should say, has a team developed 2 Final Fantasy games in a row back-to-back. It never happens, right? So normally, whenever one team develops the next numbered game, it then passes off to another team. For better or worse, it's never 2 teams in a row. It is always an ever-rotating group of people at Square that work on Final Fantasy games. And again, we've only, last time we had it 2 people in a row, 2 times in a row, was Final Fantasy 7 and 8. After 7 and 8, Sakaguchi took back over for 9, different team. Kitase took back over for 10, kind of basically the team that we now know as Creative Studio 1. It's actually kind of weird because it's technically a different division that worked on Final Fantasy 11 that doesn't actually exist, but they've merged with what is now modern Creative Studio 3. And 12 as well. And so that lineage now is all under CS3. So, I mean, I guess technically you could say 11 and 12 to some degree, but even then, at the time, it was still 2 completely different teams that worked on 11 and 12. Now they're all under CS3, but still were different teams at the time. 13, again, Kitase's team. 14, back to what is now Creative Studio 3. 15 is a team that doesn't actually exist anymore, but at the time they were called BD1, which then became Luminous Productions, which after Forspoken no longer exists. And 16, again, back to CS3. So this has been the way things have been operating for 2 decades now. And so, again, it should come as no surprise to anyone that seeing as how CS3 developed Final Fantasy 16, that we would probably be passing it back to CS1, or we would be passing it to some other studio within Square Enix, assuming, that they just didn't do something randomly different this time and not like, they completely changed things. Which is always a possibility for sure, don't get me wrong. Especially with the restructuring, especially with them wanting to do things differently now. It's always a possibility. But in terms of this, I just don't see it being different because in order to get these Final Fantasy games out the door in a timely, reasonable manner, there is just no other way. I thought Luminous was BD2. No. They were originally BD1, if I'm not mistaken, right? No, were they BD1? No, they were BD2. No, you're right. They were BD2. You're right. They were BD2. Because modern CS1 is BD1. I think you're right. It's been a long time. And several restructures later. So you probably are right about that. You can try to check really quickly. Yeah, you're right. BD2. BD2. You know what's really interesting, though, about that is that now BD2, I'm sorry, Creative Studio 2 is being helmed by, like, Kitase, I think, but we don't know actually what Creative Studio 2 is working on. So it's entirely possible that Creative Studio 2 is working on 17 as well, and then maybe CS1 is working on 18. We really don't know. Is my nephew still playing Remake? I actually don't know. I haven't visited him since then. I hope he is. But next time I go over, I'm gonna ask him. Yeah, I just thought I was remembering wrong. No, you're remembering right. I was remembering wrong. Yeah, they were BD2. But that is interesting, though, because, yeah, we now have Creative Studio 2, and we don't really know what they're doing. But they're like a brand new internal studio, and, yeah, they're working on Virum Rex. I'm just gonna say it. Nomura told me himself. It was revealed to me in a dream. They were working on Virum Rex. It's happening, chat. It was revealed to me in a dream. Yozora will merge with his Heartless, because Yozora is actually a nobody, and he'll merge with his Heartless, and he'll return to his true form, which is actually Noctis. And the Virum Rex logo will explode, and it'll be like, Versus returns. Missed the biggest news from today. Ben Starr wants to be a voice of the Golden Chocobo in 7R3. Yeah. I was going to touch on that too. Which, by the way, I think they should absolutely do that. I do think that Ben Starr should have a guest role in 7R3. I do think him voicing a Gold Chocobo in 7R3 would be like the most supremely fucking funny thing that they could possibly do. Could you imagine like the Chocobo just being like sounding like Clive for a minute and fucking with you? That'd be great. Best thing that they could possibly fucking do with 7R3. So a Virum Rex AA game would have fed so many fans like other small KH games did. You know, kind of the big thing with KH that's been happening is that they don't have B teams anymore for KH. And I think that's negatively impacting it for sure. You know, so for Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest, there's all these different things that you can engage with leading up to the main release, especially Dragon Quest right now with the remakes that they're doing. Final Fantasy also still has this, to a lesser extent than it used to, but it still has it, right? You still have like your smaller Final Fantasy games that come out, and we also get frequent. It's not like we don't get like Final Fantasy releases that often, or that far apart. I mean, thanks to like the Re-Trilogy series alone, we're guaranteed some FF updates, and thanks to FF14, we're also guaranteed some type of FF content. And then in the middle of all that, they tried to deliver a mainline FF title. So it's not like we go forever without it. It's not like Dragon Quest fans go forever without Dragon Quest. They are always making something new Dragon Quest. But it really does feel like just Kingdom Hearts has gotten like effed. I do feel like Kingdom Hearts has been getting royally screwed in a just supremely unfair way. And I think they need to figure it out for KH, because I don't think the way KH is currently being run is in the series' best interest long term. I don't think that that's any fault of Nomina's, to be clear. I just think that it's like, you know, whatever is going on between Square and Disney. To be truly honest, it's not even someone that you can point to and say, oh, I blame this guy. Or even, you know, I blame this company, right? Like, you can't even say, oh, it's Square Enix's, like, fault. Because there could be something with Disney, right? And you can't blame Disney because there could be something with Square, or it could literally be both. So, you know, that's like the thing with Kingdom Hearts, is that like you don't even really know who to blame, if anyone, for anything not going according to plan, or, you know, the direction of things not really heading the way that it should be. It's just a really complicated series in general. It's really, really hard. And so, you know, even some stuff, like as I was doing the research for the Kingdom Hearts 1 essay, finding out like the balance between what Nomura actually gets to decide and some of the stuff that he had to do just to work around things, I gained like really a new appreciation for like what he does on Kingdom Hearts. Because I'm like, holy crap, man. A lesser director or a lesser creative could not work around this shit in the way that he does. And I kind of left, you know, my research on that and my work on that essay feeling like, dang, Kingdom Hearts is cool. Like, I've always liked Kingdom Hearts, obviously. But I like really left it with like, dang, Kingdom Hearts is like cooler even than I thought it was. Like on the surface level, it's actually like, even when it's bad, it's kind of fascinating. You know what I'm saying? Like even when it's like in like a more objective, higher level sense, I'm like, this wasn't that great. But like just knowing everything that has to go into it, it's kind of like, dang, this is a miracle actually that this series exists, and the way they come up with things, and just the amount of creativity, and just how interesting it always continues to be, again, even at its worst. Kingdom Hearts is cool. Isn't it funny that Dissidia will have FF characters in Shibuya fighting giant monsters wearing contemporary fashion before KH4 even gets a release date? Not like the only thing we know about it so far is KH characters in Shibuya with contemporary fashion fighting monsters. Wait a minute. Yeah, it's so Versus 13 coded. Like, it's not... And I think he wants to be obvious about it, right? He doesn't want to even make it a secret. He wants you to think, wait a minute, isn't that Versus 13? So, my friends were talking about the multiverse in FF7. What if that's another world they use the original actors? Wait, like the Advent Children actors? That would be interesting. I do think that'd be a fun way to include them. But that wouldn't actually matter in the Japanese version, because it's the same actors. When do you think Ever Crisis will get the EOS announcement? I love how that's worded. Not like, do you think Ever Crisis will get an EOS announcement? But time's ticking, dog. When do you think it's happening? Like next week or like next month? I actually find that really fucking funny. I don't know the financials of Ever Crisis like supremely well. A better question, or a better person to ask, would probably be Daryl from Final Fantasy Union. He actually he knows the numbers for like everything. So whenever he streams, that's a good question for him. But my understanding of Ever Crisis is that like it is not like top performing like Brave Exvius numbers. It does okay from my understanding, but it's not like their mobile heyday. So yeah, I think that a lot of the fans, from what I'm hearing of EC's fans, is that like they were kind of fearing the end of service announcement because a lot of stuff seems to be getting cheaper and getting cut and a lot of stuff like that. So yeah, the FF13 collab is really cool. I really do think like right now is the time to bring FF13 back. I do. I think that people will be able to appreciate the qualities of 13 a lot more at this very moment. So if they were to re-release it, I do think it's a good time. I've, previously expressed my grievances with that game. But I don't think 13 is the worst Final Fantasy. In hindsight, they're actually, if I was to actually go back, I think I actually did put it in my tier list as as like the lowest, which by the way, I need to redo my tier list. Because I look back at my tier list and I don't agree with my own tier list anymore. But this is to be expected because my FF tier list is like ever changing. And I think that, you know, if you're honest with yourself as a person, as you evolve as a human being, as you grow up, your taste naturally just changes, and like the things that you appreciate in a game and such. So I actually do think that I would move FF13 up a little bit for a few reasons if I were to re-rank it. I still don't think it's like the first 13 game. Again, maybe this will change when I revisit it, especially with like if we get like a remaster with some much improved features. I still don't think I would rank 13 on like it's definitely not in my god tier. I think it would probably be like just like dead center of like my okay tier, right? So I think it's probably not the worst FF game, I think, but it's also probably not the best one. But I do think it has some fun things to it and some decent story moments, and I really just think that they need to do a final mix of 13 that can like really do some deep work to it and actually make what's already there shine. Because again, most of the problems I think that hold 13 back from being what is Night Sky Ryan's opinions of what a good game is, most of the stuff is like a ton of super minor stuff that adds up to be really fatal in the end, and 13.2 resolved almost all of that, right? So most of the stuff that's required to make 13 like a pretty decent game is just backporting all the stuff that they added in 13.2 that was like really it. What's my favorite pre-7 FF? Probably 6. I think 6 is like the Link to the Past to 7's Ocarina of Time, I think. If that makes sense. But 6 is just like, and I don't mean this to like disrespect 4 and 5, which I think are amazing games. But I just feel like 6 is just so elevated by how much they had figured out the technology at the time. And it's when things like really came together. I always say this. I know it's like this will make like some like 2D FF fans maybe somewhat mad. And it's not to disregard like 1 through 3 or like anything, but I feel like FF4 was like the first real Final Fantasy. And when I say real, I don't mean like 1 through 3 aren't real. I just mean that like the way in which we think about FF today is entirely predicated on Final Fantasy 4. And like everything subsequent to that, like pretty much everything all the way up to 9 is like kind of a sequel to Final Fantasy 4. I don't know how else to explain it. Like FF4 is like kind of the foundation of the whole series for me, and then FF6 is like where they like lock the fuck in and they're like, yo, let's do like FF4 but like way more intense. FF4 was low-key a Link to the Past. Maybe you're kind of right. Like you kind of are. Like 6 is where they perfect. Right. 6 basically took the FF4 formula and like ramped it up to like 1 million. Right. And so basically everything is kind of based on like the foundation of FF4. So yeah, I feel like, I mean, even like the narrative structure of Final Fantasy games, when we look back to see like where that sort of narrative structure like really began and where Final Fantasy like truly began to separate itself from Dragon Quest, to me it's FF4. Right? And then I think FF6 was just like a double down. I'm not disrespecting 5, by the way. I just think that like the jump in like quality that we experienced from 4 and 5 to like 6 was like like utterly insane. It'd be nice to have all the DLC for the FF13 games in one place. It is if you have the PC version for sure. You know, that's probably my favorite thing about PC gaming. It's just that we don't have to beg for the ports, because ports are already available for all those PS3 games. I can already play Metal Gear Rising on modern hardware. It's my favorite PC thing. Okay, so I think, damn, he hates FF5. FF5 is pretty damn good. Isn't FF4 the first one with a real story and characters? I mean, technically, I would say that's FF2. Technically, FF2 is like the first, like actual 2, not North American 2, is like the one with like actual real story and characters. But like 4 is just like when they started to resemble something like actually good. I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know how to explain. That's not to say that FF2 story is bad. It's just that like it's when the stories actually started to portray a more believable deal of depth than what was allowed, say, on the NES. What was the FF17 thing that made you think it's CS1? Great question. Let's go ahead and get into today's topic, which is this Nintendo. Oh, it's the wrong fucking one. Here we go again. Is this the right one? What the fuck? Oh, did I change my cropping? Change the damn cropping. It's okay. It's okay. We'll just do it like this. And then I'll change it again when there's a YouTube video that we have to watch. So actually, let me go through this and see if there was anything worth talking about. So we have a brand new article here from Naoki Hamaguchi, or not from Naoki Hamaguchi. We have a brand new article from Nintendo Live that was talking to Naoki Hamaguchi, and they were asking him about Switch 2 and Final Fantasy VII Remake. This should come as no surprise because he's been doing a whole series of interviews about Switch 2 and about FF7 Retrilogy coming to it. However, there is something in this interview that seems to allude that potentially he could be the one working on Final Fantasy XVII. Now, this is something that I have been talking about quite a lot because I've suspected that they're the ones working on it for a really long time, in part because they have a 2-game pipeline. They were working on the planning stages of Final Fantasy VII Remake. They were working on the planning stages for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth all the way back when Final Fantasy VII Remake was in production. And essentially, they also have been planning 7R3 even when Rebirth was in production. So whenever the next game is about to roll out, they then transfer staff onto the new game. You've been streaming a lot. Why don't you make a layout? Because I'm lazy and uncreative. I find it odd if you look back at the history of JRPGs, how FF garnered its reputation of being a premier storytelling franchise because it took them a while to start doing it, compared to say DQ4 and 5 or hell even Phantasy Star 1. FF is kind of behind in most regards for a good chunk of its early, yeah. And then around FF4 through 6, that's when it started to catch up, and then 7 is where it like really became the sort of dominant JRPG series. So let's go ahead and take a look at what the article says. I don't think that too much of this is like super interesting, but there is one question that is very fascinating. So Leave is inspired by Final Fantasy as a kid. Much pressure to ensure. Okay. Yeah, I think the part to really focus on is here at the bottom. Preference between that. The switch port, streamline progression. Yeah. This is also interesting. So he says, as a Nintendo-focused site, one of the biggest RPG franchises for us is Xenoblade Chronicles. I'm curious if you played the Monolith-developed games and if these have influenced your approach to the Final Fantasy VII Remake trilogy. Let me zoom in on this a little bit more. Oh wait, will it crop out? Nah, it'll crop out. I'll just leave it like this. I remember when I was involved with the Xeno games that we made in the past with Square Enix. Wait, Hamaguchi worked on the Xeno games? I actually did not know that. But unfortunately, I haven't played the most recent ones from Nintendo. So I'm sorry about that. But if you talk about other Nintendo games that have influenced me, I've taken a lot from, and you might think this a bit of a cop-out, then it'll be Zelda, Breath of the Wild. It's such an inspirational game, and I've learned so much from that. Looking at how it's affected the remake series, moving from remake to rebirth, and that switch to more open world gameplay, Breath of the Wild was hugely influential there. That's not terribly surprising for me. There is a lot of Breath of the Wildness in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, so a lot of people attribute it to Ubisoft, but yeah, I could always tell that he probably got that from Breath of the Wild. If you compare the kinds of games we make in Final Fantasy with Zelda, in some ways the approach is slightly different. Our games very much start with the story. Yeah, okay. Bro didn't work at SE until 2006. The only Xeno game SE worked on was Xenogears in the 90s. Yeah, I'm actually really confused. Which Xeno game was he involved with it? And so, yeah, Square only had one Xeno game. So, I don't know. Anyone in chat want to research that really quickly and maybe figure that out? Maybe they helped on Xenosaga? It had to be, right? I mean, this is from Hamaguchi himself, so maybe he did work for Bamco before working at Square. I don't know. So this part is really interesting, though. Our games very much from the start with the story. Our games very much start with the story. And that's actually really interesting, him saying that they start with the story, because if you don't know, essentially, Zelda games, they come up with what they want the Zelda game to play like first, and then they slap a narrative onto it. So Zelda is entirely dictated by whatever gameplay thing they want to do, and not necessarily a story thing. And I know this was kind of controversial for some Zelda fans, when it first came out, because there's a lot of Zelda fans that are really, really, really dedicated to what the actual. There's a lot of Zelda fans that are dedicated to the Zelda timeline. But honestly, I'm be real with you, Nintendo does not give a flying fuck about the Zelda timeline. That is something that they came up with later. And I think that most Zelda fans really discovered how much they didn't care once Tears of the Kingdom came out, and just completely ignored all the timeline stuff because they couldn't make it fit. They probably could have made it fit, but they didn't want to make it fit. And yeah, Nintendo both acknowledges and doesn't give a fuck about the timeline. Yeah, I mean, they basically created it because it was a cool idea. It's something that, fans really like the idea of. And so they kind of acknowledged it themselves, and then they basically just backed off of it. But anyway, he says, and then we worked out what kind of gameplay experience we want to add to create that story and the feeling of being in that story. I think Zelda does it the other way around. They start with the gameplay experience, and then the setting and world is kind of fitted around that. So telling a story around gameplay first, seeing how Zelda achieved this, was definitely an inspiration for Rebirth. So yeah, I think that you can definitely feel the inspiration there. Zelda timeline is cooked, been cooked. It's one of those things where I was like, I don't know. The Zelda timeline was never gonna like come to like a head of any type of climax. So I never cared about it because I felt like caring about it was setting myself up for disappointment. Like if I locked into the Zelda timeline, I was basically consenting to my own self being let down. And I think again that we did kind of see people experience that with Tears of the Kingdom, and there was all this disappointment around Tears of the Kingdom narratively, and I'm just like, bro, people are out here caring about Zelda games narratively in this day and age. It's kind of a shock to me, because I never saw them as like super near. I mean, I did like during like Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. After that, though, it never seemed to like really be interested in trying to tell some type of all-encompassing story that between all of its different games. It just seemed to want to do the fun thing. And then Nintendo even came out and said, yeah, we just want to do the fun thing. We don't really think about the story that much. Nintendo's proven they give zero fucks about story and consistency in their game. With Pikmin, a short animation having humans and Pikmin together, even though in the very first Pikmin game, heavily implied it was set in a post-nuclear apocalypse where all humans died out. They don't care. If it's not like Xenoblade or Fire Emblem, if you're going in expecting story consistency from Nintendo first party, I think that you are just like asking to be supremely disappointed. Yeah, I mean, even Tears of the Kingdom shows they didn't even care about Breath of the Wild narrative consistency. They just literally were like, yeah, we just want to reuse the map. We just want to reuse the assets. We don't give a fuck about narrative consistency. I think the last time you had two Zelda games that were like narratively consistent, even for the most part, were like Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, and everything else is just like they don't care. Even Fire Emblem is debatable. True. They locked in pretty hard though for Three Houses. Three Houses goes pretty hard. Okay. So here is the part though that is the sake of the stream title. I have been beating the drum for quite some time now that I believe Creative Studio One is the people who are working on Final Fantasy 17. Of course, they're also the ones that are working on Final Fantasy 7 Re-Trilogy. As we have discussed previously, they have a pipeline that allows this team to accommodate two games. My understanding of it from these interviews is that essentially, as they work on one game and they finish one game up, they then cycle those team members to begin planning and then developing the next game, right? So as we've looked at quotes in the past in previous videos and streams, where we talked about how all the way back in 2019, they had began planning for Rebirth. And this only makes sense, you know? At a later point in development, once the people who are the higher up creatives who work on the game's story and work on the game's concept art, you know, those types of people, as they finish up working on one project, you know, you're not really going to need them at that late point in development. So a lot of them can get cycled on to the studio's next project. In this case, they get cycled on to Rebirth. Makes sense, right? And then with Rebirth, they're developing Rebirth. Rebirth is going along nicely. They begin the planning and pre-production for Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3. This gets interesting because you may think, well, that's probably going to stop when Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3 comes out, right? Well, what if I told you that they used or that they had that same pipeline in place and they continue to use that pipeline for basically Final Fantasy 17, and that's what I believe they're doing. So, Nintendo Life asked them, when you're done with the third entry in the trilogy, will you be taking a much-deserved break? Or do you have other projects that you're working on? In my position, I am the director of the Final Fantasy VII Remake series, so my biggest focus at the moment is getting Part 3 done and seeing fan reactions to that. In addition, I'm also the head of Creative Studio One, so that's involved in making other games which I'm a part of. One big thing I'm looking forward to in the future is having the team I put together work on something new. One thing that's common in the industry is that when a project is finished, the team is split and moved around. But that hasn't happened here. We basically got the same guys all the way from the beginning of the project right through to the end. So I'm really looking forward to the game that we look to create after. It could be a Final Fantasy. It could be something completely different. I've not yet decided. Which is a lie, by the way. But it's the type of lie that all producers and directors have to tell. They're always like, oh, I don't know yet, or we haven't decided yet. Dude, they decided like 2 years ago. What it really means is they haven't revealed it yet. Anyways, he continues by saying, but whatever it is, gamers who have paid attention and seen what we've done with the remake trilogy, they'll have great expectations and look forward to seeing what the team comes up with. So, what do you guys think? Because I am thinking that more than likely this is Final Fantasy 17. Dude, if they're making FF17 with the exact same team, they're going to make the best mainline, I think. I think they are too. And for a few reasons. The first is that they're going to be going into FF17. They're going to be going into FF17 with all of the knowledge that they have from the re-trilogy, right? So things like airships can be their day one, right? Because they already have established tech and code for that. It can roll over into the next game. Two, this team has already been doing a really fantastic job with the gameplay of the re-trilogy. I also think that in terms of story, clearly they've been nailing the lovability of the characters. Everyone feels like, the FF7 characters are at their best in Final Fantasy VII re-trilogy for the most part. And they also won't be shackled to a source material in the same way that they are with FF7 re-trilogy, right? So it's a lot harder, or, people are a lot more skeptical with 7R and a lot more critical because there is a source material there and we can compare it to that. However, with FF17, they'll have a clean slate. They won't have, decades worth of expectations riding on them in terms of the story and how it's supposed to go. And they'll have a lot of freedom there. And I think that as long as they can bring the same type of feeling to the found family, again, that we talked about before, that every JRPG really strives for, and make that something into brand new characters with Final Fantasy 17, really remembering kind of the best of Creative Studio One's lineage. So, the best of like FF10, the best of the 13 trilogy, the best of Remake trilogy, and bringing that all together. I really do think that FF17 could be a superb mainline FF title, probably one of the best even. So, and also too, what I talked about before, we don't have teams working on two mainline Final Fantasy games in a row. The last time that happened was Final Fantasy 7 and 8, and since then it has passed from team to team, but it's never the same director for two titles in a row, pretty much ever. And I think that, technically this could, you could argue that this would be the first time if this does happen, because you could technically count re-trilogy games as mainline, depending on who you are. But Generally speaking, in terms of the numbered titles, it hasn't happened. The kind of problem with this, though, is that we never have a situation where a team can just take all of their knowledge and directly go into the next Final Fantasy thing and it be like out of this world good, right? It's always years in between and it's never a direct transition, right? And so, yeah, we just don't have that. And it's really unfortunate. Wasn't FF7 all the teams were? Well, I mean, it was all of the people that were working on Final Fantasy at that one point in time, and then a lot of those people split off. Right? Like Final Fantasy 7 had so many OG had so many genius people working on it that many of those developers split off and became their own auteurs, basically their own really influential creators. It was a crazy time because Sakaguchi, I think, was a mastermind at finding talent, right? I don't even think that like we talk about like Sakaguchi's legacy as a creative. I don't even think that necessarily it was Sakaguchi's like ability to make games so much as it was Sakaguchi's ability to see things in people. I think that's actually his real legacy when it comes to game development. He basically was always able to find this talent and to know how to foster them and to know how to bring out the best in them. And I think that that is actually kind of his legacy more than anything. Like legitimately being FF dad, more or less, but not in the way of like, oh, he's like the creator of Final Fantasy in that sense, which I mean, yes, he still is, but like kind of being like FF dad in the sense of like he, had this like paternal instinct of raising up everyone he thought was talented and allowing them to thrive and do their own thing. Whether it was Tetsuya Nomura, whether it was Matsuno, all these other Tetsuya Takahashi, all these other incredible developers that would go on to make some of the most influential games of all time. So I agree that the potential for the next mainline FF could be through the roof. FCB1 stayed on it to do it next. Yeah, man. I really do think it's them. Again, it's never been two teams in a row. I just don't want them to ditch this for like something else. I know he said that he won't use the exact same battle system, but it's possible that he could use the foundation of that battle system for something else. And that's all I want. I want to be clear. I don't want them to use the exact same battle system. But the thing about the concept that they came up with in Final Fantasy VII Remake, where you're opening the command menu, you're building up an ATB bar, you're switching party members. Just keep those fundamental concepts. You can remix them in any way you see fit. You can add a jump button. You can add a job system. You can subtract the stagger bar and replace the stagger bar with something else. You can do any number of things to keep that battle system interesting, to keep that core foundation interesting. Just please don't sub it out for something else. I think for the most part, and again, I read an uncomfortable amount of discourse and comments from the YouTube channel, from you guys' chats, from Twitter, from everything that is ever being said in the Final Fantasy community. I also watch Japanese Final Fantasy channels. And look at the comments on Japanese Final Fantasy channels. And through all of that, this battle system is the one action battle system that they have come up with that action people like and turn-based people aren't offended by. And so if they are going to keep action, I do believe this is kind of the only way to proceed forward. Because if you don't, somebody is going to be pissed. Somebody is not going to like. This is the only thing that they can do at this point, combat-wise, I really think, to keep most people on board, other than going with like a turn-based game again. But even now, there are some action Final Fantasy fans that would be like a little bit disappointed if they don't go with action. I do want to check out the VGC interview too, so we'll go to that in a second. Does anyone have the link to the VGC interview? I didn't grab it. I don't think. Did Shinra Arc actually put the link to it? I think they didn't actually. They did not put the link to the VGC. They got the one to the Nintendo Live. What the fuck? If anyone could find the VGC one for me real quick, that'd be great. We'll talk about that in a second. Where are we at? '16 had no strategic features into the gameplay, and it was just a hack and slash. They made both audiences upset. I mean, yeah. I mean, it definitely has like its own audience too. Like, I mean, the hack and slash community seems to really enjoy it. So I don't know if it necessarily made everyone upset, but it definitely did piss off like a ton of people, for sure. One thing they need to seriously work on at 7R3 is, and beyond, if they keep this battle system, they need to absolutely get rid of those 40-minute boss fights. Fuck me sideways. I hate so much about the final chapter of Rebirth, be it the abysmal dungeon, stupid stuff. yeah. I don't really like the 40-minute boss fight at the end either. I felt like that was less like obsessive, but excessive. My bad. Is this live? No, I'm dead. I'm really digging Hamaguchi doubling down, saying, y'all are gonna like what we make. Stop worrying. Yeah, I do too. They're not 40 minutes. I mean, not regular boss fights. We're talking about like the Sephiroth Rebirth boss fight, which I'm pretty sure that might have even been longer than 40 minutes, if I'm honest. That was a really, really, really long boss gauntlet. Like absurdly long. I don't even know if I can like readily name a boss gauntlet longer than the final chapter of Rebirth. That was a really fucking long boss gauntlet. It didn't come up, but I'll just Google it and see if I find it. Okay, I think this is it. Right? It's this one right here. Where he says, I'm very confident in Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3. And then he talks about Clair Obscur. And yeah. So let's go through this and look for the most interesting parts. But Hamaguchi says he's very confident in Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3. And he talks about Clair Obscur in this interview. It's not often that directors get a second crack at delivering their video game concept. Hamaguchi... Okay, let's see the actual... Hamaguchi said Square Enix development team is working hard to ensure that the upcoming Rebirth port and Part 3 look eventually just as good. Nintendo players in the future, you don't need to worry at all. They're going to get that version, get a version that is just as satisfying and just as high quality as the first game, if not higher. That's probably cap, just like a little bit. I do like his confidence there, but I mean, even on base PS5, like I do feel like you need like a PS5 Pro or a PC to really get like a really good performance experience from Rebirth, to be honest, but we'll see. I would be really excited if that's the case. So hopefully that is the case. I don't want to just be a hater, but but if they can make that work, I'll be very excited. Like especially if they can go back and optimize it a bit. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I assume part 3 will have better performance out of the fact that it is targeting Switch 2. Yeah. And maybe they'll leverage DLSS. I don't know. I think that Remake 3 should have frame gen too. Because I think frame gen would have solved most of the problems with Rebirth on base PS5, and it would have helped the PC performance a lot too. Yeah, Switch 2 does have like AI upscale, so maybe that will help it. So, I mean, he seems to speak about it confidently, so what do I know, right? Okay, so let's get into the important parts here. So when it came to Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, a lot of people weren't huge fans of the pacing. And this is kind of weird to talk about because I don't think that Rebirth was necessarily a poorly paced game, but it was a game where you had to basically pace yourself. I think that if you beeline that game, it's actually phenomenally well paced. However, if you get caught up in a lot of the side content, that can definitely slow the game down, but as is the case with most games. But I think with Rebirth, to like a very strong degree, there was just so much content that you could do at any given time, and you were paced that content by each zone. So it felt like as you went from zone to zone, you would spend all this time doing the open world stuff, and for some people, that got a little bit tiring. So here is what he has to say about Part 3's pacing. Hamaguchi said, it said that he also elaborated on his recent comments that Part 3 would feel more concise, explaining that he intends to make the third game better paced rather than condensing its content as some had feared. It's about making sure the pacing feels right. It's not about cutting out content. It's about making sure that it feels right. The speed of the story progresses at the speed that the story progresses at feels right, and it is fairly quick and feels like you can get through it at a reasonable pace. That's true. Let me see. Did he say anything else about that? No, he didn't say anything else about it. But yeah, that's good. Because I don't want them to necessarily cut the content. I think that people just want it to feel snappier and to get through it better. I think for me, the only time that I truly felt like the pacing in Rebirth was just simply intolerable for me. I've said this before. Actually, I think I literally said it like last time we were on stream. But it was just Temple of the Ancients for me. Like that was the only time where I felt like I was losing my mind at how slow the pacing had become at that point. And don't get me wrong, it's not like that chapter and that whole section didn't have some really good narrative moments to it. But a lot of the times, it did feel like you were going around room to room, and those rooms had a ton of the same enemies in them, and it just overall felt like it could have been way shorter than like what it was. And that is actually when I started to lose my mind a little bit. I didn't even like lose my mind completely on the Kate Sith section, although for a lot of people, that is where they were starting to go crazy. I get it though, because that section also does go on a little bit longer than it should, for sure. But yeah, for me, Temple of the Ancients is where it just completely goes too far with too much. Temple of the Ancients could have had an hour of exploration removed and nothing would be lost narratively. Yeah, I don't think that anything necessitated Temple of the Ancients actually being that long, in my opinion. A problem with the content in Rebirth is not solely the quantity, but the quality. So many copy and pasted life springs and summon shrines with the same 20-second button press minigames, the same annoying chocobo shit. Yeah, I mean... And that's kind of the thing, Crossy, too, is that I feel like with Rebirth, like Rebirth's biggest problem was simply that they had too much and there wasn't a big enough quality filter for some of it. So I think it is better to actually cut some of the content that just isn't as good, right? And just really focus on making a really tight experience the entire way through. I think that they wanted like a super massive game that you could spend an insane number of hours on. I DM'd you my tweet thread take on the overall pacing of Rebirth. If interested, it's more about the overall story versus the individual chapter pacing. Let's take a look at that. Okay. So actually, we have a thread from Subtext here, and he talked about the pacing of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. So let's take a look at this. I've seen a lot of these takes about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth lately that not a lot happens in the story. It's easy to disagree, but there's some truth to it, and it comes down to the story structure. I touch on the structure in my next video, but not this part. I want to, so let's thread it. Okay, we got the story structure here. Most stories are actually, let me see if I can zoom in. Yeah, there we go. Most stories are split up into 3 acts. Rebirth begins at the start of Act 2. While there are lots of ways to describe it, one analysis calls this part of a story fun and games. That sounds a hell of a lot like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, doesn't it? Interesting. Act 2, Act 2B, Act 3. Interesting. Bad guys close in. Dark Night of the Soul. All is lost. Interesting. Doesn't Rebirth kind of get to some of this though too in Act 2B? Anyway, let me keep reading. We've seen these parts of a story before in movies ranging from comedy to drama. It's essentially a part of a story, but usually a reprieve from an intense first act, which, for Rebirth, exists in a whole other game, Final Fantasy VII Remake. Okay, the guys start to retrace their steps from the night before and explore these characters and the situation in a fun way. That was from The Hangover and in Good Will Hunting, when Will finally starts connecting with Sean and his girlfriend, both filled with bonding moments and only a little bit of drama. The Fun and Games and Get Out, though filled with more tension as a horror movie, meeting and getting to know the Armitage family is the fun before the storm. And then Oppenheimer stars when Oppenheimer, I guess, is that supposed to be starts? Starts when Oppenheimer begins to build his dreams with a team of scientists, starting up the town where they will do their experiments. That said, Fun and Games is what Rebirth is until you reach the dying scene. It's a whole lot of the experience. In most movies, it takes up to 20 to 25 minutes of a story. In Rebirth, a cut down of the cutscenes times out to 21 minutes. The dying scene hits 10 hours in. Damn. Oh shit. Subtext is cooking here. Let's go. And so it's a lot of fun for sure, and will slot nicely as one small part of the trilogy. But with it taking up so much of the runtime of Rebirth, I understand why it can feel like not a lot of story happens in Rebirth. And it is true. Max Dude has talked about this as well. The beginning is a huge story moment, the Nibelheim incident. And starting at Gongaga, a lot of stuff happens. But chapter 2 through 8 are mostly getting to know the characters and the slow decline of Cloud. Like seriously, a lot of stuff happens in the first half. Very true. Very true. I didn't even bother showing all of the chapter 14 stuff, and I didn't even show all of the major moments between chapter 9 through chapter 13, just a short highlight reel. But again, comparatively, a lot less happens in the first 8 chapters of the game, so I get how some people feel. In short, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is paced really well for the totality of the trilogy if played as one full experience. But when each part is separated by 3 to 4 years and consumed individually, it feels a bit unnatural to what we're used to with stories. Very good. Oh, I just realized is this post from like literally a year ago? That's crazy. I thought this was something you had cooked up like recently, but I think you like absolutely fucking nailed it here. The best side content was the stuff that didn't involve chat lead, the character quests and minigames. The character quests had good banter with the party, and the minigames were fun for the most part. Yeah, I agree. Um, One way to make the side content not feel overwhelming would be to set players up to do some of it upon arrival in a new zone, and once they've given the main story beats and we want to keep going. Another way to would be to remove the checklist so people have to discover stuff on their own and remove the sense that they need to complete it all before moving on. Yeah, I think that was maybe like one thing that Claire Obscure did really well for me personally, was not make me aware of any of the side content that I was missing, or like what side content there was available. And when I didn't know like what I was missing or like what was available, it kind of just kept me playing the game and just like kind of like immersed in the experience. And I do the content that I find, and if I didn't find it, it was basically like it didn't exist to me. Right now, the risk of that, and the reason why a lot of game developers don't want to do it, is because you want to point out all the content to the player so the player is not like missing things, because everything is so expensive to develop that they want you to see every little bit and crack and everything that they make, so that you don't miss a single thing. But the consequence of that is that you get into the kind of the checklist game design where you feel a need to go and do everything. And because you can always see those markers, you have like this permanent fear of missing out. See, this is one of my biggest issues with the story and pacing in the remake trilogy so far. I'm seriously tired of people defaulting to critiques as the story isn't over yet. I bought a full price game, and that runtime exceeds most average games as well, regardless of its role in the larger trilogy. Rebirth, first and foremost, has to succeed as a standalone game. On that front is where Rebirth fails more often than not. I mean, I think that I think you're on to something there, but I think that ultimately, like when it comes down to it, it's just like the real critique of that is basically, was it a good idea to make one game into an entire trilogy? I do think that a lot of these issues could have probably been resolved if this was 2 games and not 3, as we've discussed before. But yeah, there's a lot riding on part 3 to kind of to basically reward everybody who's been staying around for so long. There's a lot of weight on it, basically, because there are all these plot twists and all the new stuff and all the things that are going on. Basically, we're all kind of depending on part 3 to do those things. So, but yeah, I do think that things probably would have been better paced if it was 2 games, but I just don't know if they could have made it 2 games. It was something that they discussed throughout development, whether it should be 2 games or 3. 2 probably would have been the better way to go, I think, in hindsight. And I don't say that to be like, oh, Remake and Rebirth didn't deserve to exist. I just think that if we're talking about the sake of the pacing, 2 games might have been a better idea. But there was something else in this interview that was also really interesting. Oh, we can talk about this. So basically, Hamaguchi talks about how they have different teams handling the ports, so that the ports of Final Fantasy VII Re-Trilogy aren't really impacting the development of the main game. He said, "You've said multiple times, you said multiple teams are handling the ports as part of your shift to multi-platform development. How does that work with you as a director? And how do you ensure that you can maintain synergy with different teams? Rather than having multiple teams work on the same game, certainly for the 3rd game in the series, we've got another team which is working on all the platform versions of that game. to reduce the amount of work in terms of adapting to that different hardware platforms. We're working on Unreal Engine on Windows to create the core base version of that game, which is then going to be the template for all versions. I mean, yeah, that's standard Unreal development stuff. The way we're handling is that there is actually a separate team. It's a team specifically of engineers. We call them the porting squad or the multi-platform squad. These are the ones that look at the technical side of how to move the game and adapt it to different platforms to meet the requirements on those platforms. For example, there's a certain asset which on the specific hardware goes over the regulation, the volumes of data, etc., and that needs tweaking for that specific platform. They will then be the ones mainly handling that. The idea of that is to reduce the burden on the main development team, all the planners, the directors, the creative leads, etc. Obviously, if there's an issue that they need to work on the main dev team side, they will share that information. They'll come back and say, this needs adapting, can we work on that? But generally, they are kept separate to work on all the multi-platform issues. I was actually surprised by the outside reaction to this news. When we released the news that we were going to bring the whole Final Fantasy VII Remake series, all 3 parts of the trilogy, multi-platform, and that the third game is going to go out on multiple platforms, the vast majority of responses that we got were really positive. Because it means people can play on the platform they want to play. I mean, yeah. I mean, yeah. True. I mean, not wrong. I mean, isn't that you didn't expect that? I would have expected that. How many interviews does Hamaguchi do, man? It's not even the press / marketing rounds for part 3 yet. They're going really hard to promote Final Fantasy VII Remake for Switch 2. And I guess Xbox. But I don't think anyone fucking cares about I don't know. But like, yeah, I like Xbox, but like more so for Switch 2. Let's be real. Because I do think that Switch 2 is kind of going to be the platform where things really take off. The statement really makes it sound like they're working toward day one multi-platform release. I hope so, John. I hope so. I really do. I really do. I really do. I don't want to buy Final Fantasy VII Remake 3 and then like buy it again on PC, you know, like, and then like, you know, playing it on I mean, you know, it's fine on PlayStation 5. It's not bad on PlayStation 5, but it's so much better on a gaming PC. It's night and day difference. And Rebirth really made that clear. And I had such a better experience playing it on PC. And I just kind of want that to be like, I kind of want the first experience to be the best and preferred experience, right? Because with the first 2 Re-Trilogy games, it feels like the best way to play them is not on the original hardware in which they launched on, right? So if you're playing Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade, you know, that's better than playing the PS4 version of Final Fantasy VII Remake. And if you played Rebirth, that game is a majillion times better on PS5 Pro and on PC. And so it feels like, you know, buying the PS5 version is nice, but yeah, if you have a gaming PC, then I'd just rather play it on that, you know, and not need new hardware. I think they want us to know that Switch 2 is going to be a big platform for Final Fantasy. It should be, because right now they're basically missing out on the domestic market in Japan. And, you know, that could be another 1 million units for them, right? Like back when like PlayStation 2 was big in Japan, for example, you know, they could sell like, you know, 2 million copies of a game there, or over 1 million copies of a game there. And a lot of the Final Fantasy games still sell 1 million in Japan, but that's locked to a platform that is not like super popular there, like PlayStation now. And so imagine if it was also available on Switch 2. They could actually have domestic growth, which they pretty much all but given up on this past generation. So I wonder if they're still locked into any exclusivity window, even a small one. People forget that Rebirth only had a 3-month window. Check the fine print at the end of the trailers. Part 3 may have the same. The question is how quick they can port it out. And hopefully, if they do have a 3-month thing again, it'll be like literally at the end of those 3 months, everyone else can play the trilogy. But that would really suck. I think that would actually really hurt them quite a bit. My hope is that is not the case. There is no like PS5 timed exclusivity, even if it's like one day, even if it's like 1 week. I think that's too long. The only way people want to potentially buy multiple times is getting part 3 and then buying the complete trilogy version later on, hopefully with improvements backwards in the series. Yeah. So like some part 3 stuff can come back to Rebirth, and then some Rebirth stuff and part 3 stuff can come back to Remake Integrate. That would be ideal. KH4 will definitely come to all platforms day one. I think it'll come to Switch 2 and everything too. I do think they'll eventually release all the Kingdom Hearts games on Switch 2 as well. Oh, he continues here. But I was a little bit surprised. There are people who saw that as a concern, who were saying, would that not affect the creative side of it? If you were going to develop it on multi-platform, is it going to hold you back? Is it going to restrict your creative side? Fair enough. I can understand the logic there, but I was a little surprised at seeing it. So if you could get this message out, it would be really appreciated. The decision we made to do that has been thought through thoroughly. As I said, the structure that I put in place, which I just described, where they got the creative side team and they do the creative work completely in isolation from any thinking about what platforms it goes on. And then, if there are concerns, it is worked on by another team. That really helps ensure that there are no brakes put on development. We are not holding back on anything on the creative side, and it will be the ultimate version of the game, the creative vision that we want to make for the third part of the remake series. So hopefully, people can be reassured that by that, we have thought very strongly about this, and we have made sure that multi-platform is definitely going to be a plus, and it is never going to hold the project back. A lot of very strong confidence here, and a very smart way of approaching things. And it's good to see that multi-platform is not going to be holding anything back. It's interesting. So are there any incidents where you, as a director, had to be pulled into the porting work? For example, an idea that the team might flag as difficult to implement on certain lower platforms? I think there is actually one big advantage in my favor here, and that maybe other directors wouldn't have, is that I started out as an engineer and I have a strong programming background. So I very much understand the technical side of development as well. For example, you get directors who aren't originally engineers, who are more on the creative side. They obviously would have that issue where they have this massive creative vision, but then afterwards discover that to achieve that, there are restrictions, and there are these limitations, and technically that is really difficult. Because I have both, I have the understanding of the technical side and the system requirements as well. And I generally got a very good idea of what a hardware spec allows a certain creative decision to be realized or not. So in that sense, it is very synchronized. When I am communicating my vision to the team, I am instructing them. I come from that perspective. So I think that really does help reduce those kinds of disjuncts between the creative vision side and the technical side, because I understand all that from the beginning. So I think this is a big advantage of having myself at the top of the team just because of the background I have. It seems you're interested in the technical side, so I'll give you a specific example of how my engineering background helped. Obviously, when we're moving games from previous platforms onto Switch 2, especially in handheld mode, it becomes quite an issue. Like I said, obviously effects require a lot of processing burden, and the Switch 2 really can't keep up with that in handheld mode. So we really needed to explore how we could reduce that burden and the data that needs to be processed. There are ways around it and various approaches you could take. But you have to work out what the right thing to do is and what the wrong thing to do is. Certainly, the decisions I made there, Final Fantasy VII and the remake series, is very much a character driven one. It's got strong, iconic characters, and I think it was really important that those characters appear in the best possible quality, and how their facial expressions and emotions come across is the and how their facial expressions and emotions come across is kind of all down to lighting. The way those characters are lit really does change, even if it's exactly the same model, exactly the same facial expression. Having different lighting can completely change how they appear. So I felt what we don't want here is that the Switch version looks like worse or even different in terms of that lighting, how that changes the characters, how they appear, and how they're presented. That's actually a very strong point. If you've ever messed around with lighting, you already know this. As a lifter myself, this is something that is something that I think about quite a lot, because there are some lighting scenarios where I will look very jacked, and there are other lighting scenarios where I will look not so jacked. And basically, it just comes down to how the lighting and the shadows are set up in a room. And so, you're very particular about how the lighting uh, creates the illusion of the separation in muscles and all this other sort of thing. This has nothing to do with Final Fantasy, but yet it does. And so, yeah, I do think that the lighting is like supremely important. And I do agree that, like, this is a Final Fantasy game, so how the characters look is one of the most important aspects of that. Yeah, think about the lighting and how it made the characters look at times in Rebirth. I wish they would just redo Final Fantasy VII Rebirth lighting. I think it looks fine in cutscenes. In fact, it looks immaculate in cutscenes. But man, fuck. Like, sometimes the lighting in some places in Rebirth is just fucking dreadful. Rebirth can look ugly. Yeah, and it's not even an ugly game. It's just the way the lighting works in that game in several areas makes it ugly. And I don't know what is going on with, like, the lighting system. Unreal Engine, I hate you. I mean, I don't even know, because, like, there are Unreal Engine games where the lighting is good, So I don't know, like, I don't know how they're approaching lighting and, like, what they're doing with it, but it's just like, it's not good at all. So, is Alan Wake 2 Unreal Engine? Yeah, I think remakes lighting looks good because of how it doesn't have as many lighting, like, scenarios. But even then, I think that, like, when remakes lighting looks the worst, it's usually daytime lighting that makes remake lighting look bad when it does. But it usually looks better than Rebirth, and I guess that's because there's so much nighttime that happens in remake. So I think that, like, I mean, remake's a pretty decent looking game, but, like, it only gets. I think the only bad looking part of remake, really, like, truly bad looking part of remake, is Sector 5 in the first game. It just I actually still don't know. I'm, like, still not fully sure what happened to, like, Sector 5 in Remake 1, but that part of the game does look, like, pretty fucking rough. But then you get to, like, the Shinra building in some areas, like Chapter 2. I'm like, dang, this is gorgeous. And then, like, yeah, Sector 5 was, like, scuffed. I don't know what the fuck was going on with that shit. Oh, yeah, Alan Wake 2 is Northlight Engine. Okay. Remake's lighting in the day is at its worst and still looks better than Rebirth's lighting in the day at its best. Again, it doesn't bug me that much, but it is noticeable. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I do feel like the the fucking the lighting. If they create like a definitive version for all the games and they re-release it, like a final mix version of like the whole trilogy as a collection, I just wish that they would like, yeah, we redid the lighting for like all three games, and like now it's even better than ever before. Like visually speaking, I think that like the lighting of, but especially Rebirth is like my biggest issue with the visuals of the game by and far. Um, I also hope that 17 could have a more JRPG story and not an extremely sad one like those story driven games, Sony story driven games. I mean, I feel like 16 had a pretty JRPG story actually. Like still, I mean, it was like Sony narrative game coded, but like it's still like a very like JRPG story for sure. Almost to a like a little bit of a detriment even because I feel like a lot of it, the presentation wasn't tropey or cliche, but like the whole Ultima using you as a vessel type thing was kind of like the ultimate JRPG villain cliche. So yeah, I mean that was there for sure. Did you see the BR interview where Hamaguchi almost confirms that the game will be on Unreal Engine 4? I mean, yeah, there's no way they're switching away for Unreal Engine 4 for this last part of the trilogy. That's a given to me. That FF7R3 will be on Unreal Engine. I have no question about that. Yeah, it'll be on UE4. It's not gonna upgrade to UE5. UE5 might be what they upgrade to with Final Fantasy 17, but I don't see them upgrading to Unreal Engine 4 at this. I mean, from Unreal Engine 4 at this point. They're going to stick with Unreal Engine 4 all the way to the end of Part 3, and then maybe with Final Fantasy 17, assuming Hamaguchi's working on that, they will switch over to Unreal Engine 5. I think Retrilogy staying on Unreal Engine 4 is a good thing, given how wacky Unreal Engine 5 seems to be. Yeah, it may not even be the worst thing, right? Considering how many tech issues we're having with Unreal Engine 5. I'm hoping that Unreal Engine 6, which I assume we'll see in like maybe 2 years, maybe 3 at the most, will be free of a lot of the tech issues that Unreal Engine 5 has had over the years, for sure. Also, the overly bright light makes the visuals washed out in some areas. It does. I don't know. It's one of those things. I'm hopeful that because it's Unreal Engine, maybe one day someone will get like really good with modding the maps because they're able to mod the maps on like Kingdom Hearts and shit. So I'm hoping that like one day someone is gonna get like gonna just like absolutely break the game open and they'll be able to fix the lighting in in the Retrilogy games, and it'll look a lot better. Because again, they're actually gorgeous games. They just have some like really fucking ugly lighting in some areas that make everything look flat and weird at times. I'm just like, dang, if the lighting was a little bit better, then it'd be gorgeous. But Midgar at night still looks good. So as I said at the beginning, even though lighting is quite a burden part of the processing, it takes up memory, and that had to stay the same. That was my idea. We couldn't really touch that, and that had to be maintained. So when I look at it, okay, what can we work around? We looked at other things like generating shadows that could be changed. We also looked at the post effects and other things that would take up processing burden. So when they were redone to look as similar as possible to the original ones, but with a different kind of processing style. And that was all reworked to reduce the burden a lot. And that's what allowed us to really get strong frame rate in handheld mode. A lot of it was put in by my rendering engineer team. They did a good job on it. I think that's been proven with the results we've shown off. So yeah, that was one real advantage of me being from that technical perspective and knowing exactly how that interacts with the creativity of it. Okay, that's good. And it also makes me hopeful that maybe as they optimize Rebirth for Switch 2, I'm thinking like, can you bring some of those optimizations over to, say, maybe PS5, so that the PS5 base version's performance mode can be not like that? I don't know. On the concern regarding multi-platform, most of that was part 2 and 3, which are obviously next-gen console primarily. Quality, yeah, that's pretty standard stuff. Got Steam Deck verified. We actually created a rendering pipeline for within PC. Unreal Engine is similar to Nanite. It is not Nanite, but it is similar to it. We created a flexible pipeline of our own and can really adapt for various factors. For example, the number of polygons used in an asset, or the resolution or specific assets, depending on the processing power available. That gave us a really good range to work with on PC and really helped with the development of the PC version. Okay, interesting. Okay. There was something else in here. You're here in London. I imagine promotion tours away from your desk can be exciting, but I'm also worried you're busy. You're busy working on the next game behind the scenes, and the pressure to deliver a satisfying conclusion. Oh yeah, okay, yeah, this is a good one. Okay. You're here in London, and I imagine promotion tours away from your desk can be exciting, but I'm also wary you're busy working on the next game behind the scenes, and the pressure to deliver a satisfying conclusion to such an ambitious trilogy must be significant. Could you talk a bit about how you're feeling right now with all this going on? Hamaguchi is saying, that's a very polite way of asking that. Thank you. The way you're imagining it is probably not too far off from the truth. I am up to my waist in development, and I'm really involved in the daily grind of that. I am very busy. You're definitely right on that. There is definitely that feeling of responsibility. You might call it pressure to deliver the proper conclusion to the series for the fans out there who are so eagerly awaiting and loving this. But at the moment, I'm having fun with it. I really do enjoy it. And that's a very important, and I think that's very important to keep that enjoyment. This may be something we can laugh about, but yes, I really enjoy these opportunities to talk to fans and media. It's a motivation for me. It's really satisfying, and I really enjoy this. It's a great time for me, and I love doing media-facing side of things. Okay. At the same time, I still have to keep working on the Japan side, controlling the team, and working on development there. Obviously, when I'm abroad doing these kinds of events, because of time zone differences, a lot of the time I'll be working in what will be the nighttime period in Japan. And then I'll be doing my regular job communicating with the Japan team during the nighttime there while I'm doing media stuff in the day. Because usually coming to Europe or North America involves involves long 10-hour or more flights, I'm working on the plane as well. Obviously, nowadays you got Wi-Fi on planes, so I can continue working my job communicating with Japan then. Almost always, as soon as I get on the flight, I open my laptop and just work there the whole time. A lot of the time, I get flight attendants who will come to me and say, wow, I don't see that many people just working constantly the whole time. Are you okay? Do you want me to bring you something? I'm really happy that they look after me, but it's a little embarrassing. God damn, dude. Okay, I cannot get on a plane without immediately falling asleep. I don't know about you guys. There is no coffee in the world that I can drink unless it's got a little something else in it that will keep me awake during a flight. If I am on an airplane, I am knocking the fuck out. And so it is just crazy to think that in between making these flights, he's still doing it. I can't sleep on planes, too uncomfortable. Brother, I will fly fucking Spirit, which will have like the most uncomfortable fucking seats in the world. Which, by the way, I have a theory that they purposely make them uncomfortable to torture people. for not like like I don't know why. They just want to torture people. Because I'm like, bro, how much could an extra piece of cushion cost to put in a goddamn chair? There's just no excuse. They just want people to be uncomfortable. But even in a very uncomfortable like Spirit or Frontier flight, I can still fall asleep. Torture for being broke normies, yeah. And look, he's saying that like 10-hour flight, so he's actually getting a direct flight. So he's flying business class actually, because if you're like, I think from like Japan to America, you're probably looking at like, I thought it was like a 17-hour flight or something like that, something really long. Because just flying from just flying from the US to the UK is like 7 to 9 hours. So I haven't flown to Japan yet. I'm going to Japan for the first time next year, so I'm really excited about that. Could have the best seats in the world, and I'm not the one to get motion sick normally, but all that random tilting shit and shit does me in. I don't know why, dude. Like for me, it's like rocking a baby to sleep. I knock the fuck out. Like I cannot stay awake on a plane. I am out every single time. The moment those lights go off, I'm like fuck. And I don't think I'm an easy sleeper, but when I'm on a plane, I'm an easy sleeper. I try to work on my laptop while flights, but there isn't much elbow room in coach. Yeah. He's definitely in business class for sure. I mean, he has to be, right? I would be very mad at Square Enix that they had him flying coach. Come on now. The man's working 10 extra hours while he's on the plane. That's crazy. Obviously, you're not talking about part 3 much at the moment, but you were quoted in the press recently as stating that the third game would be more concise compared to Rebirth. Could you elaborate on that? He kind of talked about this in the other interview. But let's see what he says. That's actually something I wanted to speak about today. So I'm glad you asked that. Just to explain, the original question I was asked there was, they said that there are some people who played Rebirth, the second game in the series, and they felt like we've added in the new story content, which wasn't in the original Final Fantasy VII. To them, it felt like the story was being stretched out. So they asked whether we were consider doing anything related to that in the third game. In terms of the result of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and the ultimate experience that it delivered to players, that's actually something that I'm very confident in. I mean, I don't want to blow my own trumpet too much, but the way I work as director, I don't think there are that many other directors out there who, to the level that I do this, are playing through the games that I'm directing. Sitting there and going through them and playing them again and again and again, just to try and see if the gameplay experience and the balance feels right. Because I do so much of that in my daily job, that's a really important thing. I put a lot of effort into that. There can't be that many other directors who put that much emphasis on that. I feel that the pacing, the content, and the balance that Rebirth is exactly as I wanted it to be. I personally don't feel it's been stretched out. It doesn't feel unnecessarily long. To me, I think I got that right, and I think a lot of people would agree with me. Talk your shit on God, King. But obviously, I understand that there may be people who would see it like that and maybe differently. But obviously, I understand that there are people who But obviously, I understand that there are maybe people who would see it like that and maybe feel differently. That's fine. I see people who express those opinions, and that's definitely worth taking on board that some people feel that way. However, for the third game, in terms of what I said about that and the way I'm looking at that, is improving the pacing and making sure to achieve an even greater level of immersion in the game. We are making sure that the story development moves forward in a fairly speedy manner with the right pace, essentially, rather than feeling slow and drawn out. I think that may have been misconstrued by some people. They may have said, okay, that means they're going to cut down the volume and they're going to remove story content and it's going to be a shorter game. They're going to cut it down. And that's not what I'm saying at all. It's all about making sure the pacing feels right. It's not about cutting out content. It's making sure that it feels right and the speed that the story progresses at feels right. And it is fairly quick and feels like you can get through it at a reasonable pace. It has to feel right. So that's mainly what I intended to say there. Absolute base Hamaguchi. And he's just like, yeah, no, I play my own shit and I thought it was fire. So you're wrong, bro. I kind of like it. He's like, look, I'm not like other directors. I play my own shit. And so when y'all make complaints about it, I go back and play it. I play it again and I play it again and I make sure that shit is right and how I want it to be. And you might disagree, but guess what? That's still the exact thing I wanted to make. So, hey, I'll take note of it, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to change what I want to make because it came out how I wanted it to be. It's really hard to fucking disagree with that or to push back on that, you know? Like, he's like, yeah, I am making a game that I enjoy playing as a gamer. Period. So I really respect that. My only real complaint about pacing was the need to give moments an additional beat or two, like Seto or Dine. Yeah. I do feel that, like, some story moments, like Seto, for example, are just, like, is kind of, like, rushed through. It's kind of like, dang, Nanaki did not get enough space in order to breathe before, like, we went straight into the Gi tribe. That type of stuff, I'm like, okay, we could have done better on that. But, yeah. Okay, that whole section about him replaying the game, etc., and the balancing being right for him annoys me. That's the exact reason the devs gave as to why Dragon Quest II was so abysmal on release, because the devs who know their game replayed it again and again and balanced it according to their experience, not an average random players. I mean, that's also like a trap that you can definitely fall into, right? I think that, like, because this is also like a really difficult thing to do, is like, as you're making a game, you can ask any developer about this. It gets kind of hard to know if you're making something that's actually fun at a certain point, because you have played it so much that you no longer have any sense on whether it's good or not anymore. And there is kind of a need to go back and be like, wait, did we do this right? And do it over and over and over again. So, yeah. Like I said, I do think that there can be space for sure, but yeah, space for certain moments to breathe. But any creator can get too close to the creation, hard to see it objectively. Even making a video has that challenge. Yeah, I can't. A lot of times, I don't know if my videos are good or not. In fact, the only time I can actually tell, like, when I've made a good video is when I come back to it years later. Like, it has to be a year or more later, and I can come back to a video and I can say, like, oh, okay, I made a really good video here. Or I don't think this video was as good as I thought it was when I first uploaded it. But yeah, when I'm creating some shit, I really can't tell, like, if it's good or not. I think that, like, artists also experience this too, like visual artists. Like, if you draw or paint, like, you really don't know if a work is good or not until you come back to that same painting or that same drawing, like, later on. And then you're like, oh, that I thought, like, this is my masterpiece at the time. It actually is a little ugly. My only real complaint about, oh, I already read that one. That's not on the devs. Sakina Talk doesn't have any emotional intelligence and couldn't read the room. With so much story to cover in part 3, I think the pacing will feel nonstop, and the side quests with the party will feel like a welcome bit of distraction / fun. Yeah, I think that the pacing of part 3 has to be balls to the walls anyway. Like, I don't think it can afford to be not like anything less. So okay, and this was definitely something that I want to cover. So everyone has been asking Hamaguchi about Clair Obscur Expedition 33, and this has like been coming up a lot in interviews. I feel like it's weird that it's aimed, or it gets like Hamaguchi gets asked more about it. I guess, well, Hamaguchi gets asked more about it simply because he's doing more interviews, right? Because I don't feel like CS1 has ever really not been aware of the turn based or command based desires for Final Fantasy, which is why that CS1 always attempts to include them in everything, right? So you have to think that the last thing that CS1 was working on before Final Fantasy VII Retrilogy was Final Fantasy 13. And the Final Fantasy 13 games are command-based RPGs, right? And so I really just feel like, it's not as though Creative Studio One has elected to ignore, or be ignorant to the appeal of command-based RPGs. And I think he says as much here as well. Here's what they say. He was asked, many modern turn-based games, most notably Clair Obscur Expedition 33 this year, have adopted an active time battle style. That's also wrong. Clair Obscur does not have ATB in it. I think he means reactive turn-based, which is what Clair Obscur calls his system. But anyway, he says, Clair Obscur this year have adopted an active time battle style system where players are still dodging and parrying between turns. As a director on the Final Fantasy XIII series, I wondered if you noticed that and how you think that series would be received today. Yes, I worked on all the Final Fantasy XIII games. I think they were really well done, and I get a lot of response from fans who really like them. There is a really big fan community out there who are really passionate about those games still. Of course, Clair Obscur Expedition 33 came out this year, and there's been a lot of love for fans and the media for that game. But I do remember exactly like you said in your question. I felt like when I saw that, okay, that's what they've done with their game. I remember doing that quite a while ago with Lightning Returns. It does seem to use kind of a similar system to what we did. Somewhat similar. Like Lightning Returns was much more real time than that, and you had to do the job switching and such. It wasn't quite the same, but it was a command-based game where you could parry. So, talking about Clair Obscur though, I think it's very easy for people to focus too much maybe on the mechanic side of it. Obviously, it's a very big story in the game industry this year, so it's a very obvious thing to point to. It's followed the JRPG tradition. It's a turn-based. That's a typo. It's followed the JRPG tradition. It's turn-based, but it adds in all these kinds of action-style elements. But it adds in all these kinds of more action-style mechanics, like you got the pinpoint time guard and you've got the parry mechanic, etc. It's clearly part of what makes it a good game, but I don't think people should be focusing too much on that. I think the reason why it's such a good game and why it's done so well and been so well regarded is that overall it has a really great balance of all other aspects to it as well. It's got a really great story, the culture behind it, it's very steeped in French history and culture, and they've got that aspect to it which makes it its own unique right. They've done that very well. The subject of the story as well may be similar in some ways to what modern drama series do and reveal things slowly. But the idea is that you've got this mystery, and as the story progresses, you can learn more about the world and what this mystery really means. I think that's really easy to understand. It's really catchy for people who like that kind of modern storytelling. I think the reason it's such a good game is because of I think the reason it's such a good game because all of that is so well balanced and every single aspect is so well done. As a game creator, as someone who looks at how people appreciate games, I don't want people to get too focused on, oh, it's a JRPG, it uses those mechanics, that's why it's popular. I think it's not a case of if you make a JRPG style game, you put those mechanics in, anything is going to sell well. That's not the case. It's because it's such a complete product. I'd be really happy if people appreciate and respect that game for those things, rather than just because it uses that kind of take on JRPG. Very interesting. Is that the end of it? Yeah, that's the end. Well, we got one more question here, but I want to discuss this first. I find it hilarious that SE employees are being asked about reactive turn-based elements. Yeah. I mean, and that's like the thing. I mean, no one's asking SE about it because it's like a completely brand new thing and no one's ever heard of it. They're asking SE about it because it's kind of their way of saying, "Hey, are you ever going to do the thing that you used to do again?" That's really what people are asking, And that's what we talked about last time too with Expedition 33 is that no one's really asking for Final Fantasy to become Expedition 33. They're just asking, are you going to make turn-based Final Fantasy again? That's really what this comes down to, right? So it's not like people are asking, hey, will you make this thing more like this completely unrelated game that has nothing to do with FF? They're really just trying to say, hey, bro, we really liked Final Fantasy 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Can you do like another one of those? That's what people are really trying to ask. Like, it's not like it's not like they're trying to be like, hey, you need to steal from this French studio. Like, everything should just be like this from now on. They're just really saying that, like, yeah, we missed the old Final Fantasy, and we hope that you will make one like that again. That's what people are really trying to get at. They're not asking, why aren't you copying CD Projekt Red? Right. And there's a specific reason why they're not saying, like, hey, why don't you copy this X thing, right? Because people see this as, okay, this is the way Final Fantasy used to be, and we want you to make Final Fantasy the way it used to be, right? And I'm not saying that's wrong or right, just to be clear, because I think that there are some arguments for and against, that. I think probably the way forward is to make something that adapts those elements in the way that Re-Trilogy does. But I also think that it's not off the table for them to, say, make a new turn-based Final Fantasy game either. Either 3 was the worst turn-based game. You just need to parry and that's it. I mean, truthfully, that could truly be said about any action game. Right? If in any action game you had auto parry, then like, what would you even need to do? Right? Like you would basically like be effectively immortal in pretty much any action game ever if you just had perfect timing for all animations ever. I mean, technically, like, you can really argue that Sekiro as a game, like, you don't need to do anything in Sekiro. You just literally need to parry in Sekiro. That's it, right? Like, you don't need to do anything else. You just got to parry. So, like, you can really make the argument that, like, even Sekiro is like a brain dead game because once you have perfect timing in Sekiro, it like nothing else matters. So, but the thing is that I don't think most people don't have like pinpoint perfect timing. So this ends up working. Yeah, I get that we're talking about turn-based, but I'm still saying that for most people did not play that game. If you watch any streams of it, if you played it yourself, Most people did not play that game and have pinpoint accuracy with the parry. Most people, like, it took them quite a bit of time to learn each enemy's attacks and such. And also, it's like a 25-hour main story game. So like the parry like lasts exactly long enough to like not overstay its welcome too. If it was a 60-hour game, then I would probably like lean more in your direction. And obviously, they have to do something more with Clair Obscur too, right? Like it can't just be more parry slop. And that's also another thing too. If you bump it up to hard, the parry window is even tighter. And by the way, the parry window in Expedition 33 is tighter than like fucking Sekiro by a mile. And I say this because I was actually like playing Sekiro shortly before Expedition 33 came out, and yeah, so it's not like, what's up, Master Key? So it's not like the parry system wasn't was just made the game brainless and mindless. I just don't think that's the case. Pairing being okay is typically why I do not like reactive turn-based games. Why I really don't enjoy Mario and Luigi series by the Alpha Dream. Though if I do play those games, I play them for being Mario games because proper timing nullifies the need to properly invest in the typical turn-based systems. Because turn-based at its core is a resource management simulator. No need to manage resources if you can bypass the parts of the system which drains your resources. I mean, yeah, the kind of idea, I guess, with like reactive turn-based is that most people are not going to be so supremely good at timing that they're able to crack the system, especially not on their first go, right? Like on your first playthrough, especially, every time you come across a new enemy is going to be like a brand new learning situation. I think this also poses a really interesting challenge for Clair Obscur 2, because Clair Obscur 2 is not going to just be able to say, okay, we have brand new mobs, we have brand new enemies, and that. So, yeah. But also, Riku OL, like, why are you saying it like every turn-based game has parries, right? Like, it really was just like the Mario games, or like Expedition 33 has like forced parry into everything now. I don't think that's the case. I think that like, I think it's popular with Expedition 33, but it's like, it's something that's not done more often because it does have its limit, but it was really well done in E33 and most people really enjoyed it, but I don't think it was like forced in. I think it's like a pretty good system. The biggest problem with it is not necessarily that it exists, but just so much that by nullifying the damage, it just creates a situation where a lot of the higher level thinking and strategy is no longer needed. I think the biggest challenge, or the most interesting thing they could do for the next Clair Obscur game, is keep the parry, but figure out how to make it so that you have to strategize in other ways and it cannot just be used to nullify all damage. I think that would actually be like a more interesting use for parry, right? So if they come up with a way where, how about you can only parry certain attacks? I think that if you can only parry certain attacks, it may make the system feel like a downgrade from the previous one. Yeah, it may make it, no, not tacked on, just like it might make it feel like, oh, now I just have to sit here and take damage. So why not like not focus, right? Like why would I do that? I like what parry does for the I like the principle that parry in a turn-based RPG forces you to pay attention to an enemy's attack patterns and an enemy's attack animations, right? Because typically what you do in a turn-based RPG is you just watch an enemy's animations, right? And I did find it really engaging that whenever an enemy is attacking, I had to sit up the most, right? Like the whole entire fight was something engaging because of that. And it also made me more interested in looking for new enemies to fight because I became fascinated with how they would act. Yeah, I would agree with subtext. I think that you're just not a fan of the system. I don't think it's a flaw necessarily. It's just something that you just don't like, which is fair. And I wouldn't want it in every turn-based game for sure, or even most turn-based games. I just think that it's probably a style of turn-based game that can definitely thrive for sure. And I think E33 definitely proved that. And I do think that they definitely need to make it more than a one-trick pony for Clair Obscur 2. I think even if I don't like E33, I just think it should exist as a different style of gameplay is good. I just don't want everyone to be like, let's copy it from them. I don't think they will, right? Because I mean, it's been out there for a while. It could just popularize it, because I do think that something inventing something and something popularizing something are different things, and people don't seem to like really distinguish between the two very much in discourse. But I mean, for example, like technically Persona 5 didn't actually do anything different. Right, because people get on this like E33 didn't do anything different. I'm like, Persona 5 also didn't do anything different. Actually, is pretty much everything that Persona 5 does like was already done in 3 and 4. It just upped the presentation of it to like the fucking sky. I mean, the biggest thing that it did, and even then, I don't think that Persona 5 was like the first game to do it. It was just the most popular game to do it because the style it did it with was how it approached the menus in combat, which has basically become like, I mean, everyone fucking does this with turn-based now, where it's like the face buttons are like attack and all the other stuff and that type of thing. But again, I want to say that someone showed that P5 wasn't even like the first game to do that. It's just a game that basically made it the industry standard, but it wasn't even the one that started it. It was just the one that did it so fucking good that everyone was like, yeah, we all have to do this now for turn-based games. So, and yeah, now everyone's doing it, right? So, like I said, the idea that in a turn-based game, you have to actually engage with the enemy's animations, principally, very cool idea. The only issue is that, again, with the parry is that, as you guys pointed out, it can trivialize the turn-based side of things, right? I do think it would make for a really engaging game. And again, this isn't a solution or an idea even. It's just like it's a problem to be solved, a design problem. If they could figure out how to make it work and to still make it tactical, right? To still make it so that it does not matter if you have the best parry skills in the world, you still have to be able to strategize. I like Paper Mario maybe because E33 is not on 2D play. Really? Do you like Sekiro? Because I feel like with like say like the Mario games, right? Like the reason that like E33 works for me is because that even though it takes from the Mario games, like the implementation and feel of it is yeah. I know, Crossy, we're gonna play today, I promise. We're gonna do this one last thing and then we're gonna play Trails. The parry in E33 feels really good, like Sekiro parry. Yeah. it's a lot closer to a Sekiro parry than like how the Mario games do, and the animations are a lot closer to Sekiro too. So too easy to yap. I know. And once you get me yapping, I yap. Anyway, so with what Hamaguchi is saying here, I agree that, like a lot of people try to reduce Clair Obscur to a lot of different things. A lot of people are just like, oh, just because it has realistic people on it, that's why Westerners jumped on it. But I'm like, hey, do you know what other JRPG series put realistic looking characters and realistic looking environments in it in hopes that Western people would like latch onto it? Do you want to know what series actually did that first? That was actually trying to get more attention from outside of Japan? It's actually this small indie series called Final Fantasy. Like, every time someone says that, every time someone's like, oh, Clair Obscur just got the attention because it has the realistic graphics, I'm like, brother, have you fucking heard of Final Fantasy? Do you know why Final Fantasy has realistic graphics? Do you know why like Final Fantasy like 16 looks like that? Do you know why? Do you know what they were thinking? Do you know why? Do you know why? Do you know why? Like, so fucking stupid. I hate Twitter. I hate everyone on there, including myself. I will say though, even though I don't personally like reactive turn-based games, speedruns of the classic Mario games and Luigi games are insanely fun to watch. Yeah, it does make speed running like really fun. Because everyone will miss the fucking point about why FF games use realistic graphics in the first place, but they'll point to that and be like, okay. But also, I don't think that realistic graphics alone are what make a JRPG instantly popular. Obviously, it is something that the West can gravitate to, as seen with not Clair Obscur, but Final fucking Fantasy. Yeah, it can make people like, it can draw them to it for sure. But also, before FF ever used realistic graphics, people were still drawn to it anyways. Back when it used more stylized graphics, back when FF7 looked more like manga than realism. And so, yes, you cannot just slap realistic graphics on any JRPG and then suddenly the Westerners will take it seriously. I don't think that like what the fuck are y'all talking about? Like, please stop. E33 isn't realistic either. The stature of the characters have a very specific art style too. They don't look like real humans. Yeah, of course not. It's still stylized just like Final Fantasy. Most people are like just really like willfully stupid about this because again, it's caused a lot of discourse. It gets a lot of attention for doing things that it didn't necessarily invent, but that doesn't even mean anything because who even gives a fuck about inventing game mechanics, really? I mean, at this point, it's really just more about remixing existing elements. That's kind of like 99% of art. Most people just don't invent new like things with art like every other day. In fact, it really, in other mediums, it happens like several, like 3 or 4 digit years apart at times. Like it's not like it's like new things with art happen daily. So for the most part, art is just really about remixing existing things and things that people already know of and like, doing them differently in the execution of them. And so when I see people try to pin it on that, then yeah, like it's stupid. That being said, he's right that it's not just because obviously that if you make a JRPG style game and put those mechanics in that it's automatically going to sell well. It's selling well because of a combination of those things, right? Combination of the fact that, people wanted something that filled kind of in the gap of Final Fantasy 7 through 10 and Lost Odyssey and that style of game. And they got something like it, but also the quality of the story and the music and the characters and all the other work put into the game. So it's not just like it's a very arbitrary game that got popular because they used realistic graphics on a JRPG. I wish that realistic graphics automatically made a JRPG popular because if it did, you fucks would have played Lost Odyssey and we would be on Lost Odyssey 5 right now and I wouldn't have to beg for a fucking remaster or anything alike, because all the Xbox chuds would have been playing fucking Lost Odyssey like you should have been playing Lost Odyssey back when the Xbox 360 was out. What the fuck is wrong with you guys? But you didn't fucking play Lost Odyssey. So now we don't have a remaster or a PC port of Lost Odyssey because you guys fucked up. You disappoint me. So yeah, realistic graphics being attributed to why, like, the sole reason that Clair Obscur is like a big game, or just the fact that it's really the culmination of every single element of the game that made it popular, and not just like, oh, just because it's like realistic Unreal Engine people, it's popular. That's why the West likes it. And I'm like, no, Final Fantasy has also put out realistic people games in an attempt to be popular, and sometimes that works, and then most recently it hasn't. Now, we wouldn't even be on Lost Odyssey 3. The artist would have put his new work on a hiatus for 10 years or more. When will the Vagabond manga return? That's a great question. Sorry for letting you down in this, P. It's okay. It's too late now. Dark Souls, literally, what do you mean? Dark Souls literally invented stamina. It's not just ATB, and Monster Hunter didn't do it first. And that's actually like kind of a semi good example, right? I mean, but that's what I mean though, right? It's just like most gaming and art in general is just remixing existing elements. Truly new stuff does not happen like very frequently, right? And the only reason that it happened with video games in such like a quick succession is because video games are such a brand new art form, and they're advancing like really fast because tech is advancing really fast. But if you look at any other art form, like fucking like film or like painting or anything like that, like the evolution of it, like groundbreaking shit was not happening like every other week and those things. We just look at it because video games are new and people are figuring things out. And like, it's not obvious how to make a video game because we don't have hundreds or thousands of years of people doing it to look back on in order to reference and things like that, right? With video games. So yeah, it feels like new video games were happening every single day, and they were changing gaming as we know it at one point in time, especially if you're, if you're a little bit older and you were able to witness kind of the Super Nintendo through the PlayStation 2 era, where like every other day a new like groundbreaking video game that would come out and do everything differently and change everything. We're kind of at the point now where a lot of stuff is out there, and it's really hard to come up with something that just simply has not been done before. Not saying that no one will, but it's not as common anymore. It's slowed down because we have a good idea now. We have like a library of things that we reference. Yeah, video games are almost 50 years old, which is like really insane because video games are actually like really young at this point. They're still a really young art form. Basically, you can be alive and have witnessed the entirety of video game. You can be alive and have witnessed like the entirety of video game like evolution, right? So like if you're like 60, right, and video games are almost 50 years old, you could have like been alive and saw like the entire complete evolution of video games from beginning to end. Most people have not been alive long enough to witness the entire evolution of painting or film or music. And if they are fucking vampires and you need to kill them. But most people have not been alive. So that gives you some perspective on how young video games are as a medium. The moment you start thinking of the correct way to make art, you're thinking about it wrong. If I said the correct way, I don't mean the correct way. I mean best practices, which is a thing in art. And we have figured out, or we're starting to figure out a lot of best practices. But again, something will always come along and then change the way we think about everything. So, TBH, no one at all has been alive long enough for painting. That shit goes back centuries. Yeah, exactly. But that's my point, right? Is that like, how many revolutions in painting have there been throughout the years, and how far apart have they all been spaced? Realism doesn't matter for younger players for the most part. They see the popularity of Minecraft, Roblox, Undertales. It's mostly old heads who equate progress with graphics, who care and buy based on visuals. You're right. Visuals, like realistic visuals in general, are a boomer thing. Like, we care about them. But I have not seen the younger generation really give a fuck about it. And Genshin Impact, even Hoyoverse games, are kind of a good example of that. The popularity of Persona with younger generations is also a good example of that. The care for realism is kind of an old head thing more than anything anyway. So, such a fair point. My first RPGs were on the Atari 800, and knowing all the leaps from then to now is staggering, right? Anyway, last question, and this was a good one. Finally, Ben Starr of Final Fantasy 16 and friend of VGC asked me to ask you if he can voice a golden chocobo in Final Fantasy 7 Remake Part 3. Let's go. I'll ask the team if they want to do that. I've got the impression he's the kind of guy at every event you go to, he's there. So I'm going to have to see him at London Comic Con this weekend, because I'd imagine he'd probably be there as well. I'm looking forward to seeing him. Ben Starr probably will be there. And I think him voicing a golden chocobo would be amazing. It's like the best thing that they can possibly do. I think that would, everyone would just love that. So yes, I think that they should put Ben Starr in 7R3. Even if he's just like an NPC or something, even if he's not a golden chocobo, him being a gold chocobo would be like, hi, it's me, the gold chocobo. Good fucking job finally breeding me. Yeah, I can see him saying that too. Oh, that would be great. Yes, of course. Let me see. See if he says anything interesting there. No. Film is almost 80 years old. Yeah. Even film is still like pretty young, like relatively, right? So, like, even with film, it's not like film has had like, I think that's also part of like, I mean, it's not really like the whole reason, but it is part of the reason that we have like this obsession with remakes, is because we are kind of like creating this new types of media. NSP is only 22. So true, King. That's actually a fact. So true. Oh my god. I was in crystal stasis for 13 years. For like versus 13 or 12 years. I can't do math. 12 years. I was going to say versus 13 years. I mentioned it before, but you don't even look 30. Just late 20s at most, really. Good skincare. And the fact that my hair is all here, I think. I think the combination of those two things. See, when I smile, though, you can see like a few like crow's feet. I don't have them like really bad. It's only like when I big smile, you can kind of see like a little bit. But see, like a little bit, but I'm hot. Thank you. I appreciate it. um, I've seen worse lines on younger people, to be honest. I have two actually, and that's because they don't wear sunscreen. Um, which, by the way, guys, you should wear a sunscreen every day, at the very least on your face, because your face is always exposed. And um, don't just do it because you want to look younger for longer, although that is a great reason. Also do it because you don't want to develop skin cancer, which is not fun, obviously. Lotion and sunscreen. Yes, absolutely. Hydrate your skin. And also, really important, drink water. Now, one thing about drinking water is you don't want to do it like me. I'm drinking my water out of plastic bottles, which I have a habit of doing. And the only reason you don't want to drink water out of plastic bottles is that water bottles have like the highest degree of microplastics in them, which is like, if you guys ever actually look into like microplastics, this shit is like super dystopian, because we drink and eat actually like an extreme number of plastics, like, and like the amount of plastic that we eat and drink is like really small. And unfortunately, what happens to that plastic is that your body is unable to get rid of it. And so it mostly deposits in either your brain or your testicle, which is, both are like not really great places for plastics to deposit. And they're endocrine system disrupting, which like basically means they can like cause you to produce like less testosterone and estrogen over time too. So yeah, which is why I eventually plan to switch to drinking my water out of like an actual thing, out of something else, and not just like water bottle slop. But so yeah, that's also something to look out for. I mean, people say AI is inevitable. Nah, microplastics are the true inevitability. AI putting microplastics in your balls is actually the true inevitability, sir. Chat GPT will say, here's your microplastics. Microplastics are stored in the balls. They unironically, yeah. Yeah, they are. Um, that's the singularity. That's so funny. Yeah, I mean, well, they need to put a warning on those bottles. I mean, it's on like every bottle, which is also why, by the way, you're really not supposed to heat up anything plastic, right? Like if you heat up like any type of plasticware, I mean, don't, right? Because when you're heating that plasticware up, you're basically like heating up the plastic molecules, and then we eat those plastic, like we eat the food that's been warmed up in the plastic. And then the plastic is then like, so truthfully though, you can't do everything though to avoid like microplastics. It's like impossible. You can just minimize it. It won't like directly kill you anyway, but it can indirectly cause problems, like health problems. So it's just one of those things that like modern environment stuff that we have is just so unfortunate for our health. But corporations are able to get away with a lot of this stuff because, well, you can't really like, you can't really say like, oh, it's killing people, right? Because it's not technically like killing people, but it may cause disease over time. And it's just like one of those things. Shinra, I mean, unironically, yeah. It kind of is basically. Yeah, and plastic is cheap, and most people aren't like so concerned with something like this that they're like, oh, I will pay more for a non-plastic option, right? No one's gonna do that. No one's gonna be. I mean, hell, I'm literally not doing it, even though I'm telling you guys about about this stuff and I know about it. Because most people aren't going to do that, and it's super inconvenient to avoid plastic. And so, yeah, we just have a ton of microplastic in our blood. And there just isn't much that we can do about it. I'm gonna go ahead and start the game like while we're yapping, so we could play a little bit of Trails today. But yeah, it's one of those things that's unfortunate, and we just have like a ton of plastic in us because it's not profitable enough to. I mean, it definitely wouldn't be profitable in either way to like remove any of it or to make us not consume it. So it's cheap and easy to do. Okay. Oops. I didn't realize that I have the game covered. Let me see if I can. Yeah, and now a little Trails as a tree. Okay, so we're starting chapter 2. This is exciting.
Yep, we're on a trip after all.
Okay, let me just get things situated here. Okay. Now it's Trails time. Okay, let's go. So we had just left off with chapter 2. And wait, can I? Okay. Bro, you press like one button and Joshua goes flying. It's crazy. Okay. There we go. When I play Pokemon Legends ZA, how is that, by the way? Who would have thought an extra year would help Game Freak? So I guess it's better than like the Pokemon output that they've been making. Can someone refresh me into what towns and locations were in part 3? There's Bone Village, Iciclin, Wutai. Yeah, Northern Crater, Rocket Town. Yeah. I think you covered most of them other than like Iciclin. I don't know. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it, right? Oh wait, I meant to. God, has it been? It's been a few days since I played this, so I'm like already messing up my button inputs. No, I wanted to stagger the other one, but I'm just like letting myself get hit here. Okay, there we go. And do a chain. Nice. Okay.
Let's go. Perfect move.
Flicker.
Slash. Faster.
Nice.
You're mine.
Oh, nice. We petrified him. Oh, well, so much for that. Nice.
You got it. You're mine.
And then obviously, I probably am going to have to
You've
play some of this off stream in order for us to get through this because, yeah. But granted, we would have had 2 full streams this week and we would have been closer to 30 hours in had all this FF news not have rolled out, right?
This chest looks good. So I'll be your opponent. We'll do it together.
End this.
Okay.
Too slow.
Okay, and
Leave it to me. The perfect move.
Go, Joshua.
Delay him. Nice. And follow up. And then hit him with Blue Impact. Perfect. Lily necklace. Okay.
How do you like that?
We're on a roll. Let's go.
This guy means business. I'm game. Did you hear something? Kinda sounded like rushing waves.
I'll be your opponent.
Okay. Let's see if we can get this guy.
Look for an opening. I'll destroy you.
Oh shit, I didn't mean to do that. Let's run away.
Let's look for an opening. Slash. Eat this.
Let's see. Dang, bro, can we?
Look for an opening. Slash.
Can we get him?
Slash.
There we go. NSP misses Shara. You're goddamn right I do. I'm actually really excited to see how that ends up developing. So let's see. I can use Clock Up X.
Let's go.
Worth remembering that when a monster is stunned, if you hit them with anything, even a basic attack, you're guaranteed a follow-up attack. So you can gain more BP and chains in combat. Okay, that's actually good knowledge. But let's actually still flicker him anyway. Let's fucking go.
All right. How's this? There.
Get his strength down. This was probably a good call considering. Damn. Too weak to airstrike.
Let us begin. Yeah. Let's go. Let us begin. Sit. Let's go.
So many turns. So many turns.
Move. Dual strike. I see your move.
Nice.
Keep it up. Here we go.
Sit.
I do think I'll actually try, because I want to play the Dragon Quest. I haven't even played Dragon Quest 3 yet, so I actually do want to do those. I want to go through as many Dragon Quest games as we possibly can before we get to 12, if possible.
I think I got a little stronger.
It looks like I'm going to have a lot of time to get through as many Dragon Quest games as I want to, because Dragon Quest 12 is like so fucking far off. We still have not seen an actual screenshot of Dragon Quest 12 yet. So, I don't know, man. They're gonna remake, yeah, they're gonna remake the whole ass series first. I'm thinking at this point.
Wow.
Estelle?
Look, Joshua, look. It's the ocean.
It sure is. I can see it perfectly fine.
All I can think of in my head is Prompto saying, "I see the sea."
It's so blue and sparkly, and it goes on forever. And the sound of the waves, the salty smell in the air. Oh, this is the ocean for sure.
Is this your first time seeing the ocean, Estelle?
I remember getting a little view back when I flew on an airliner with Dad. But this is probably the first time I've seen it this close.
I see. It's been some time for me, too. It was worth walking all this way, instead of taking the airliner.
Yeah,
I
that is
agree.
insane, Crossy.
It feels like we've already accomplished something. Wow, the ocean is enormous. Just how far does it go?
Well, nothing stretches on forever.
Oh, really? I could watch it all day.
Just don't fall in, okay? We'll end this in no time.
Oh, shit, okay.
Let's finish this!
Bro, what the fuck? Dang, these guys. Okay. Oh, fuck! No!
This is bad.
And we can't run. Okay. I fucked up. I was too lazy in how I was approaching them. It's way too lazy. Okay, shit.
How's this? There!
Phew, that was
There we
close.
go.
How's
Still
this?
can't run, but here's what we can do.
Prepare yourself! Yeah! Stun!
Estelle,
You've got it! Bonus!
let's go. Unleashing.
Hey, there we go. We still got through it.
I did it! I got it!
Nice. Oh, and we leveled up. I shouldn't even... Well, I guess it didn't matter that I healed because once we level up, we get all our stats recovered, so... Or resources, whatever.
I'll destroy you.
Yeah, I'm glad you guys
Let's keep it
enjoyed John's theory. I thought it was really good, too. I need to make a community post about it, John, so that everyone can see it if they didn't see it in my community or in someone else's community. But I think at this point, Maximilian dudes reacted to it, so don't know what I could do. But I would still like to post it for people because I think they'd enjoy it. Interestingly, I feel like FF7 theories have only mostly gotten better over the years. I remember like when things first came about with Remake, there was like all kinds of crazy theories out there, and some of it I was just like, what the hell are you guys thinking, right? But I think your recent video and Subtext's video have been really, you know, and of course my bro Sleep Easy and all his content. Baby Seal's also been really consistent, yeah.
I'll destroy you.
Follow my lead!
I've only had one serious theory so far, and it actually came true, ironically, and that was when I theorized that
Let's get this done!
it's so funny because basically I said, and Crossy can attest to this more than anyone, I said that Zack and Cloud would fight together and they would use a sword made out of the live stream, and that verbatim happens in Rebirth. And I was so shocked too, because I was just joking. And I so wish,
Let's go.
you know, like I don't regret like not like live streaming my first playthrough of Rebirth, obviously, because I think I had a better time like playing it on my own pace. Even though I enjoy playing games live, I was kind of able to just like go about it how I wanted to. And obviously I played the game before it came out, so but I wish I could have streamed that moment, so I could have been like, oh, I fucking told you. Because I have been saying that for 4 years leading up to Rebirth. I thought it was gonna happen in part 3, and the live stream sword I'm talking about is like the final sword that you get in Temple of the Ancients. So I still think that the live stream sword prediction that I had in full, where it's like literally like the live stream is circling around the Buster Sword, I still do believe that is also going to happen. And I do think that is going to be a part 3 thing, where essentially the Buster Sword will like glow with live stream energy, and they will use it, and it'll be like group Omni Slash between Zack and Cloud on Sephiroth. That's still how I predict the shit ends. I know that you're probably saying that's not a very well written idea, so I hope that doesn't happen. I'm not saying it's a well written idea. I just think that it's like gonna happen regardless. So gotta say to all the FF7 theory heads, if you catch up on trails, the theories are great there too. But imagine a mystery box with games of setup, and it actually does pay off. Yeah.
Let's keep it up.
Oh, I'm sure that the theories with the Trails series are like super deep, man, because there's just so much to like go off of with Trails.
All right, treasure time.
Oh, let me not fuck with these guys too much. Droplet defense. I don't like you. Boo. I think we fought enough enemies. Let's get headed toward our... Will 5920, thanks for the 3 stream streak. Appreciate it.
Nothing over there.
It's a lighthouse. It guides ships safely at night.
I see. I want to climb to the top.
I knew you'd say that. Found treasure.
Nice. Very solid. Yeah, those like spinning flowers are like fucking dicks, man. Fuck. Maybe if I could just like, when he's not spinning, I could just... You know what? Fuck it. Fuck this. I'm out. Hidden quest here, by the way. Instead of going to the next town, detour to the lighthouse. Okay. Turbo. This is your favorite chapter? Oh, awesome. Okay. Oh, you're right. There's a hidden side quest here. Or perhaps not so visible side quest. Because technically Estelle does mention
There's
it,
a lot
right?
of them. Be careful.
Ooh, a trap chest. We'll come back for that.
Phew, that was a good break.
What should I do now? I have to notify them that I can't leave the lighthouse. But I can't leave things as they are. Oh, who are you? Kind of unrelated in SP, but did you ever get the true ending for Silent Hill F? Not only did I get the true ending for Silent Hill F, I am currently working on an essay video for Silent Hill F that I hope to go live next Thursday or Friday. So please look forward to it. Did you need something from Vereen Lighthouse? No, not really anything in particular. What are you doing here, Gramps? I'm the lighthouse keeper managing this old place. Overseeing a lighthouse of this size is tough. Huh? What's wrong? Hey, you, that emblem. Oh, yeah. We're bracers. Yeah, actually, the bald spots on every bald character in this game are, like, red. And I'm like... I'm just gonna say it's because it's sunny outside, and they all just have, like, sunburns on the top of their head. Though, to be exact, we are still junior bracers. Why didn't you tell me earlier? You just going to ignore this old man in need? What? You didn't say a word about needing help. That's because you didn't ask. First thing you should have done was asked if I needed anything. Good grief, young bracers these days are all brawn and no brains. They know nothing about being considerate. That older bracer was much better than you lot. I think that was about 7 or 8 years ago. Yes, must have been. Earth to Gramps, so you need help with something? Huh? Oh, right. Well, I forgot to close the door when I went out to cut the grass. And monsters wormed their way into the lighthouse. I can't go back inside now, you see? So in other words, you want us to hunt down the monsters inside. That's right. I don't know how many there are, so be careful. But why would monsters want to go into a lighthouse? They're probably attracted to the septium. Lighthouses use particularly large ornaments. That's right. Last time this happened, the monsters gathered at the top of the lighthouse. Oh, I see. Well then, could you get started right away? Sure. Yeah, we can. It's about time for routine maintenance, so please take care of it soon. The monsters are quick buggers, so make sure you don't miss any. Got it. Alright, let's get going.
I'm looking forward to this.
We'll end this in no time. I accept your challenge. Estelle!
Yeah!
I just thought of a great idea for, like, a Twitter post. I know it's, like, very random for me to say this, but I'm like... I think a great idea for a post would be, like, asking people what's the longest they've ever gone in a game without, like, realizing or understanding a certain mechanic and how far did they get. And I just thought that, like, it was me with, like, the sphere grid in Final Fantasy X when I first played it. Because as a kid, when I first played FF10, I didn't use the sphere grid at all. And I basically got all the way to, like, I forget the name of the location, but, like, with the shoe puff. So I got, like, insanely far in Final Fantasy X, like, doing, like, a no sphere grid challenge, not even knowing that I was doing, like, a no fucking sphere grid challenge of the game. And I don't know why I had that thought just now. I was so confused at first. Yeah, me too. I just thought, like, the characters leveled up, right? I didn't know what the fuck S level meant. I was just like, S level up. Awesome. Like, let's go. Now, bear in mind, I was a very, you know, dyslexic, ADHD kid. I don't read shit. Reading is fucking boring, bro. So I was just like, okay, cool. You know?
I accept your challenge.
Bro, John, you're actually not the first person to say that. I've actually heard that a lot of people got all the way to Act 2 and didn't understand, like, the Lumina system in Expedition 33. Like, so you're not the only one, like, at all on that. But I'm like, if you're playing Expeditioner, dang, that game must have been like super hard. Because like you don't have like very many perks at all.
Here we go.
The Lumina system is actually like really fun. You know what's so funny? Even though I'm like very open to like another turn-based FF, if they were to actually quote-unquote take anything from Expedition 33, which again is just like really just means Final Fantasy going back to how it used to be. I just wish they had a fun progression system like Lumina again. My daughter played it and beat it before me and explained it to me. That's so funny. Yeah, I wish they'd bring back like fun progression systems to FF, like because Lumina is like absolutely inspired by things like the junction system and the sphere grid and things like that, and like Final Fantasy IX's brilliant equipment system.
Let's keep it up.
Nice job, Joshua.
Like the last time we had like a system with some sauce on it was probably like Final Fantasy 12, right? The license board and like the things that you can do with jobs and stuff. Like that's the last time we had like a system in FF that had like sauce on it, right? And I'm not counting the materia system in 7R because we've had it's just the materia system again. I mean, yes, they do brilliantly adapt it into a brand new action game, but like it's not a brand new thing that like, oh, we never seen materia before, you know what I'm saying? So I just want them to have like a brand new system for us to progress characters that's really fun and engaging for FF17. That to me is like super important. Like top 3 things kind of important, right? Like I really like the progression systems of Final. If there was like one thing that you could say, even above turn-based gameplay, is the gameplay of FF games, it's like whatever silly progression system that they come up with that has you like grinding for shit and like that lets you like do all kinds of like weird shit with your characters and stuff. And I feel like that more than anything, like when it comes to like the spirit of FF gameplay that has been neglected, that is like the #1 thing. I would put that above like command-based combat like any day. Because I think a lot of the problems people have with like the RPG side of even FF16, for example, could have been greatly alleviated simply by there being like some kind of like RPG like silliness, like some type of junction as, materia as, you know, system that like Esper as, you know, system that people would have like really gravitated to. I think the fans like really missed that shit.
That went better than I thought.
You did it, Estelle.
Yeah, I'm gonna play all the games in this series, I think, because I'm really enjoying this one enough to like commit and lock in. So
That should take care of it.
All right, let's go tell this to the old man.
I think I'll stick to the remake games though for Sky. Like I don't see myself playing the OG trilogy for Sky after this. Mostly because I'm just too in love with the presentation and the voice acting of the characters and all this other stuff that's like really making the experience good for me. So I think it'd be better if I play the rest of the Sky games like this, and then I play Cold Steel and those other games. I can play the OG of those, right? Nice. Yeah, Ys seems cool too. I want to get into just more Falcom stuff because I feel like it's a blind spot in my JRPG gaming for sure. Actually, wait, can we just return to It won't let us return to entrance? Okay, that's not too bad. Because we have this. The greatest quality of life feature in any video game ever. Ah, how are things going? It's all done. The monsters have all been dealt with, so it'll be safe now. So you finished then? Goodness, that's a relief. Get work, young ones. Don't forget to be considerate of others, you hear? Alright, take care, Gramps. Thank you. Please excuse us. I think you'd like Cold Steel a lot, especially with that outside influence in your ear telling you it's trash. Really? There are people that don't like the Cold Steel games? I thought they loved them. Hey, you. Did you forget something? I don't think we forgot anything. Why didn't you ask me if there was anything else I needed? Wait, what? I said, why didn't you ask me if there was anything else I needed? Fucking boomers. If you, after you finish a request, you must be considerate enough to ask if there's anything else you can do. That other bracer made sure to ask before he left. His conduct was impeccable. I can't believe you belong to the same guild as he does. You've been pretty rude, you know that? Besides, who even is this old bracer guy anyway? You make him sound like he's so impressive. I bet you it's Cassius. This bracer helped me out about 7 or 8 years ago. Unfortunately, I don't know his name. But he was a great man. You don't compare to him in the slightest. The only thing you have in common with him is the hair color. It's Cassius. That man had the same reddish-brown hair. If I look carefully, your eye color is also quite similar to his. Reddish hair. The same eye color as Estelle. Is that a bracer? I hope you kids someday reach his level, but that's probably expecting too much. He was so far above where you are now, I'm afraid to say it may not be realistic. Either way, don't forget to better yourselves every day. Well, thanks for your help. Don't forget to be considerate. Joshua, what do you think? It's entirely possible. The timeline matches up if it was 7 or 8 years ago. I wonder if that bracer he met back then was actually Dad. It might have been. I don't know how to feel about being compared to him. Seriously. Well, we're all bracers now, so I can't complain even if we are compared. We just have to work hard so that we catch up to him someday. Though he does set a rather high bar. Maybe. We just have to keep at it a while, believing we'll overtake him someday. Now that's set, let's get going. Right. Let's go.
Woo! All done.
It isn't that people don't like the Cold Steel games. They just are, without a doubt, the most popular and best-selling arc of the trail. Ah, there we go. There we fucking go. The best-selling and most popular. That's why JRPG fans hate it. Say less, King. I already got it. I already know where the... Yeah, okay. JRPG fans don't want JRPGs to be popular. We talked about this before, but every time a JRPG gets too popular, JRPG fans are like, I fucking hate this game, right? So like, I mean, FF7 would be an example, Persona 5 is an example, Persona 4 is also an example, because people were already starting to hate on Persona 4 because it was getting too popular for JRPG fans, and then when Persona 5 came out, they really fucking got pissed. You know, it's the FF7 of Trails, yeah. Anytime E33, anytime a JRPG, which is not technically a JRPG, but it's JRPG adjacent enough, anytime a JRPG gets popular, JRPG fans take that so personally because they think that the games that they like should have been the thing that got that popular. And so, yeah, so them not liking it does not surprise me. Anytime something is popular, it like ruined everything for them and they fucking hate it. JRPG fans are some gatekeepers, I know. Right? Like, even with like Expedition, right? Like, if you're a fan of turn-based game, right? Turn-based RPGs, even if you don't like Expedition 33, you should be like, oh my god, this is great, because this means that more investor dollars will go into turn-based games. Shareholders will be more pumped to invest in the turn-based games. This means I'm going to eat even if this meal isn't for me, right? No. What do? I hate how it's popular. I hate how 3 guys on Twitter are putting other games down because of this, right? And yes, those 3 guys on Twitter have 2 likes, and they're each other liking each other's posts. And yes, my post calling them an idiot got 20,000 likes and like 500 retweets. But really, it's those 5 guys that are like causing problems. That's the problem. That's what we have to laser focus in on. It's just like, dude, no perspective at all. Like, none. Don't get me wrong, the Cold Steel games aren't perfect. No arc in Trails is. They all have issues. All have some dead characters. That's expected. But my god, the zeal with which some people take their issues is just dumb. The only part of Cold Steels that is objectively awful, and I agree, is Burn It at the Stake. Worst character in any Falcom game. Fucking hate Angelica. Okay. Maybe I'll like Angelica. I don't know, dude. We'll see. Finally, we've made it to civilization. Wow, there are really white flowers everywhere. What was the name of this village again? It's Minoria, a small town for travelers on the seaside road. Those white flowers are a type of Mongolia. Oh, I didn't know that. They're so pretty. The sweet smell gets all mixed up with the salty sea breeze. I'm getting kind of hungry. So the scent of flowers is enough to stimulate your appetite. That's so like you, Estelle. You really are a food over flowers person, huh? I'm a growing girl after all. It's about lunchtime anyway. How about we stop for a bite? Sure, but do we have any food left? Wait, actually, since we're here anyway, how about we find a nice place to sit down and eat? What do you say? We deserve a little break for it before making it to Rouen. You're right, that does sound good. Let's look for a tavern. In here. Zach got fired from his job in Rouen and came back home. Seriously, is he thinking about his future at all? As his older sister, naturally I'm worried about him. I used to work at the port in Rouen, but came back to the village. Minoria is where I was born and raised, so it's home sweet home. The only problem I have here is my nagging sister. Anything else in here? What? Are you 2 travelers? Our place is an inn and tavern. Feel free to stop by if you like. Okay.
The breeze feels so nice. Oh, look! The windmill's turning.
That's the village symbol. It does add up to the peaceful atmosphere.
The lion does not concern himself with employment, chat. Okay. Let that man Zach be unemployed. He's happy. This isn't even spoilers because the depth of her character is the same as a puddle on the side of a road filled with actual dog shit. Dang. But yeah, to sum up, Angelica across 5 games, she showed up and isn't someone being a perv to, oh. Yikes, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's not the best.
Oh? Well,
clearly. I mean, fucking clearly. But yeah, that's not that great.
What to pick, what to pick.
I'll take this.
I got it.
take it easy now.
Angelica is basically Don Corneo if he was on the side of the good guy's side. Holy fuck. She's fine in Cold Steel 1 and 2, but from 3 onwards, laughing my ass off. Oh my god. Okay, shit, dude. Well then, Welcome to the White Magnolia. I haven't seen you folks around here before. Are you on vacation in Minora? Nope, we're on our way to Ruan. We crossed the Crone Pass on the border of Bose. You crossed the Crone Pass? Man, I've never thought someone would actually walk the pass nowadays. Are you guys hikers or something? Not really. But we are very hungry from all that walking we did. Do you have any recommendations? Let's see. It's the perfect season for a lunchbox, I suppose. Box lunch. Is this supposed to be like a bento? There's a wonderful lookout in front of the windmill on the edge of town. Lots of customers take their lunch to go and head that way out to eat. That sounds great. My mouth is watering just thinking about it. Alright, then let's do that. What kind of lunches do you have? We got two options. Smoked ham sandwiches and seafood paella. Or however you say that. They're both great choices. I think I'll go with the sandwiches. The paella. 120 mira? Okay. I'll throw in some herbal tea too on the house. It's one of our specialties too. Thanks. Alright, shall we head to the lookout? Yeah. I always think it's funny, like, you know what I thought of is like FF14, where they never want to gate people by Gil in the MSQ, and so they're just like always come up with a reason that like things are free. But I actually kind of want, oh John, have a good day, man. I actually kind of want some friction where it's like, I mean, even if it's like, hey, you need to pay like 10 gil or something in order for like this like quest to proceed, but just for there to be like even like a little bit of friction in that, because I'm also thinking like, when is that ever gonna be a problem for someone to actually pay some gil for something to like matter, you know? Like they get progress gated by it.
I just searched this area. He wasn't at the general store either. Oh dear, where could he have gone?
Come on, Joshua, hurry up!
Hey, Estelle, you need to watch where you're going, or...
Estelle would be like walking backwards.
Ow.
Like that's something she would do.
Sorry. Are you okay? I really should look where I'm going.
Oh, yes, I'm fine. My apologies. I was distracted too.
Is that right? In that case, let's call it even.
Good grief. Estelle, what did I tell you?
Joshua? What's wrong?
Oh, nothing. I'm sorry about that. It seems my friend caused you a bit of trouble. I hope you're not hurt.
No, I'm fine. Thank you. Besides, I was looking for someone. I wasn't paying attention either.
Oh, who are you looking for?
A boy. He's about 10 years old, wearing a cap. Have you seen anyone like that?
A boy with a cap? Joshua, have you seen him?
No, I don't think so.
I see. I wonder where he could have gone. I'll be on my way. Thank you, and my apologies for the trouble.
Joshua? Hey, Joshua.
Huh? Oh, did you want something?
Not exactly, but... Oh, wait a sec. Ah, I see. I get it now.
Here we go.
I'm fairly certain you don't.
Oh, don't be shy, young man. They say the flower of love can bloom from the very first meeting.
You are wrong. It's just that she looked like someone I knew a long time ago. That's why I was surprised.
Ah, the old, oh, have we met somewhere before routine? It's a little cliche. I'd give it a 3 out of 10.
Anyway, Estelle, didn't her uniform look familiar?
Now that you mention it, wasn't that the same uniform Josette wore? The Royal Academy of something or other?
Janus Royal Academy. It is located in Ruan, so running into a student here isn't too surprising.
So that's what a real student looks like. She seems so proper, polite, and smart. Unlike that cocky, unrefined, stupid, annoying tomboy.
You really think so? I seem to recall you saying the same about Josette when we met her. Oh, and I remember you teased me the same way back then, too. Well, it turned out she wasn't actually a student, so whatever. If you have time to tease people, maybe you'd be better off sharpening your observational skills.
Okay, I get it. I won't tease you anymore.
I'm glad you finally understand. Now then, shall we head to the lookout to have our lunch?
Yeah.
Okay, let's get headed to the lookout. And
Wow, what an amazing view.
Yeah, it's like we can see the whole ocean.
Doesn't it feel super fancy to have lunch at a place like here?
Yeah, it seems like a great place to relax. Well then, shall we eat?
Yep. Oh, I'm starving.
what game is this? Trails in the
Let's see.
Sky, first chapter.
Mine's the smoked
It is
ham
a remake
sandwich.
of the original
Smells
game.
so good.
And mine is the seafood paella. The saffron is such a nice touch. It smells so nice.
All right, let's eat.
Yeah,
Okay, let's take the first bite.
Yeah, the food does look really good. Does she have to have that
It's so
eating
smoky and delicious,
noise?
and the lettuce is so crisp.
the paella is great too. The herbs really bring out the flavor. That bartender's a pretty amazing cook.
Oh, mind if I have a bite? I've never actually tried paella before.
Sure, should we just swap boxes?
I kind of got my hands full here. How about you spoon feed me?
Wait, you don't mean...
Yep.
That's a little embarrassing.
Oh, come on. It's not like anyone's watching. No one's here to laugh at us for acting a little childish, you know.
That's not why I'm embarrassed, but... Oh, fine.
Delicioso. Now that's what I call seaside food. What can I say? It's like this unique aroma really gets your appetite going. You know what I mean?
Yeah, very good.
Hey, don't act all cool now. All right, take this.
Well, it's delicious, but don't shove food into my mouth like that, okay?
Fine. That was great.
The herbal tea they gave us was incredible as well.
Yeah, my body feels all warm and floaty. The sea breeze feels nice too. It's making me a little sleepy.
They say you shouldn't sleep right after a meal, but maybe a post-meal siesta isn't such a bad idea sometimes.
I know, right? Huh? Hey, did you see that bird? It seemed a little too big to be a seagull, right?
Yeah, its wings look different, and its beak was sharper too. Maybe it was a hawk or an eagle.
A white hawk? That's pretty rare, isn't it? What a good omen. I feel like something good's about to happen now.
Let's hope. By the way, what happened to your drowsiness?
Gone with the wind.
In that case, let's get going. We want to finish our transfer to the Ruan branch today.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Shame. I'm already starting to miss this place.
Oh, let's make sure we have saved. Okay, here we go.
Whoa! Ow!
Oh, that must be the boy she's looking for. Been running into everyone every day, and everyone today.
My bad. I was looking for someone. Hey, I don't think I've seen the two of you before.
Of course you don't know us. We're not from this town. Wait, aren't
They
you?
what?
We just met a girl in a uniform who's looking for a boy in a cap. Do you know her?
Chip. She's the one I'm looking for. Where did you see her?
Near the tavern, but that was a while ago, so I don't know if she's still there. Do you want us to help you look for her?
Nah, I kind of know where she is. All right, bye.
What an energetic kid. Kind of reminds me of Luke back in Roland. I wonder how he and the other kids are doing. Joshua, what's wrong? I hope I'm just being paranoid, but... Estelle, do you have everything on you? What do you mean? Did you lose anything important? Like your wallet or any accessories? What's with you all of a sudden? My wallet's right here. My hairpin's still on. My bracelet emblem is... Oh my god, dude. He robbed the shit out of her. Holy fuck. I knew it. What? How could this happen? Did I drop it when we crossed the pass? Stay calm, Estelle. You definitely had it on you when we were having lunch. The only place you could have lost it is right here. But it's not on the ground here. No way. Yeah, I think that boy took it. The way he bumped into you seemed a bit unnatural, and I had a bad feeling about it. What? Why? What would he take my bracer emblem for? I doubt a kid like him will be able to do anything with it. But I think he was taking it for fun. That kid is so much trouble. I'm gonna teach him a very valuable lesson. Now, don't be too hard on him, okay? First things first, we should try to find him.
Oh, I really screwed up.
Okay, okay, you can dwell on it later. Let's find witnesses for now.
Would you like some flowers?
Oh, can I help you? I just wanted to ask, have you seen a boy with a cap around here? A boy with a cap? Ah, the boy with the girl in the Royal Academy uniform was wearing one. Yeah, that's him. Do you know where he lives? He's not from around here. I think he lives at the orphanage. The orphanage? Yes, Mauricia Orphanage. It's a facility run by the matron Teresa. It's east of here along the Gull Sea Sideway. So that kid lives in an orphanage? Let's go check it out. General goods. I don't think we need to shop for anything yet. Unless we could buy weapons? I don't think.
The view is great as always.
We're probably fine for now.
Be on your toes.
Wait, so Cold Steel's divisive, Trails in the Sky the Third's divisive. What Trails game is like universally loved by everyone?
Look, Estelle, it's the beach. Want to check it out?
Oh, yeah. I'd love to go for a
Actually, like, what is like the most popular Trails game to like the point of where it annoys Trails like fans in like the series because they think it gets too much? Like basically like true FF7, like this is the one that's had like the greatest impact to the point of where like the Trails equivalent of like FF13 nerds hate it. Like let's just say second chapter? Okay. Coastal 1, 3, and 4? Okay, is 2 like a little... Okay, a lot of people are saying Sky second chapter 2. Cold Steel is what brought the series more to the mainstream? Okay. Second chapter is pretty universally loved, I think? Okay. Looks like the orphanage is just up ahead. What's wrong, Estelle? Alright, I've made up my mind. No matter what your circumstances are, stealing is wrong. When we find him, I'm going to teach him a lesson. I guess I'm not surprised you came to that conclusion. Just don't go too far, okay? Sky's second chapter is universally loved in Daybreak 1, the latest in the franchise. Okay, cool. Second chapter is the FF7 or FF10 of the series. Okay, yeah, that's what I was trying to figure out. It's kind of hard to even ask that question about long-running JRPG series because you'll have some motherfucker like who will be in here and be like, yeah, Lightning Returns is actually like the most loved one, trust me. Just because it's like their favorite and not because it's like objectively like the most popular and like well-received one. So yeah. Second chapter is genuinely a masterpiece. I can't wait for... Okay, cool. That actually makes me really excited for it then. This is just beautiful. Like, I feel I need to screenshot this. It's just so beautiful. Just like heading down here to this church. I don't know why. It's just kind of pretty looking to me. And the trees and like... This game's art is like sublime looking to me. Like it's so gorgeous. Daybreak 2 is hated because it's not narratively important. People call it filler basically, and its budget's very small compared to like everything else. Oh shit, okay. The most debated game in the series is Cold Steel 4 because people either love it like it's their favorite or despise it like it's the worst thing ever. Oh god.
Chloe was so worried about you, you know? Come on, don't be so bossy. I found something super sick. What did you get, Clemmy? Take a look at this. I swiped it right off some dumb lady.
Some dumb lady?
What the? Why are you here?
Never underestimate a bracer. For us, tracking down a little brat like you is a piece of cake.
Dang it! You're not gonna catch me!
Hey, get back here!
Mister? What's going on? Did Clemmy do something bad again?
Sorry if we startled you.
Oh, darn it! Hey, let go! Let go of me! The army's
Beat his ass, Estelle.
Yo, look at you
Beat
acting
his
all smart.
ass.
Now give me back my bracer emblem.
Do you even have proof I stole it?
I don't, but I'm about to get some.
Hey, stop! It tickles! Gross! Knock it off, crazy lady!
Come on. I'll stop if you quit resisting.
Artemis, that's the one that that I think maybe it was Crossy who said in chat that
What the hell was that?
the director even was basically like, yeah, you can't just start with this one because everything comes together in this one. So yeah, it's definitely not a newcomer friendly title, which is very interesting to hear someone just outright say.
Step away from him! If you refuse, I'll have no choice but to...
Oh, you're...
We met in Minoria before.
Help me, Chloe! This lady's bullying me for no reason!
What do you mean, no reason? You stole my emblem.
Then show me the proof! And no tickling this time!
we meet again.
Hello again. Apologies. I thought perhaps a burglar had broken in. So... what exactly is going on here?
Isn't it obvious? Clem's been causing trouble again. Hey, Chloe! Is the apple pie ready yet?
No, it'll need a few more minutes.
You little brat! Crazy lady! Oh, Clem, when are you ever going to grow up? I'm excited for the apple pie.
This is all starting to get pretty confusing.
It sure is.
My, what's all this commotion?
Matron Teresa!
I don't know the details, but it seems obvious to me that Clem's been getting into trouble again.
She's got the anime mom haircut.
No fair, I didn't do anything! This crazy lady just keeps yelling at me for no reason! Stop calling me that!
Oh dear, this is quite the situation. Clem, are you sure you didn't do anything?
Of course I didn't!
Swear to Adios?
Yeah, I swear!
I see. Earlier, I found something that looks like a badge in the kids' room. It isn't yours, is it?
Wait, what? I thought I had that in my pocket.
Charlie Armageddon, if you like
I
Persona
knew it.
turn-based, you'd probably like
Oh
E33s.
my.
I think you
That
should
was
try
pretty
it.
clever.
You're not talking your way out of this one, Clem. Return what you took from the young lady.
Yeah, I really like her voice too.
Fine. I'll give it back, okay? Whoa! I'm out of here.
Clem!
No need to fret. He'll come back once he's cooled down. Anyway, there's no reason to keep standing out here. Why don't you come inside and tell me what happened over a nice cup of tea?
Yeah, I've seen some people act like the English voice acting in this is like super terrible, but I really don't think it is. The only voice that I had like a little bit of that took some time to adapt to was Estelle, because at first I was like, ooh, I don't know if I like that voice, but then as I got to like know Estelle's character, I kind of felt like her English voice makes sense for the type of character that she actually is, and I actually kind of just like how it stands out in general, so it's actually not bad. People are oftentimes just way too harsh on a lot of English voice acting just because they just dislike English, I guess. I don't know. But a lot of it's really just not as bad as people make it out to be. Yeah, to add to other commenters in here, the Trail series as a whole has never had extremely bad lows like, say, KH has. The consensus is that every game in the series is pretty well received and consistent in that regards. It's just certain games are better than others depending on how you view it and your preferences. Okay, that's pretty cool. So that's actually pretty good to know. So there's no recoded or like Dirge of Cerberus of Trail. That makes sense. But granted, I feel like they couldn't really afford to make a game like that. I would say there's no really bad Trails game. It's just preferences. Okay, that's pretty good. I like that then. I see, so that's what happened. I'm quite sure that Clem meant no harm, but he really can be quite the handful. I'm deeply sorry. As his guardian, I cannot apologize enough. It's okay. He did give it back after all. Besides, this herbal tea and apple pie are more than enough to make up for it. You have my thanks, Estelle, Joshua. I agree, this tea is wonderful. It tastes like the tea we had at the tavern in town, but are these the same herbs that were growing outside? Yes, growing herbs is a bit of a hobby of mine, and thankfully the owner of the tavern purchased them from me. Oh, I see. The apple pie was also super delicious.
I'm afraid I cannot take credit for that. It was this girl here. What? You were the one who baked the apple pie, Chloe? I'm still learning, but yes. I'm very sorry for my reaction earlier. It seems I made an unbelievable mistake. No need for that. I might have been a little too rough with that kid when I caught him. But I gotta say, that hawk really threw me for a loop. You must be referring to Siege. He's a white falcon. A white falcon? That's the national bird of Liberal, right? He seems to be very well trained. Is he your pet? No, I wouldn't call him a pet. More like a very dear friend. Whoa, that's one cool friend. By the way, Chloe, you're a student at Genis Royal Academy, right? But you live here. No, I live in the Academy's dormitory. It isn't too far from here, so I often visit on my days off. I do hope I'm not too much of a bother. Oh, please, you're no bother at all. You're always a tremendous help whenever you come and visit. And the children love having you here. NSP, did you hear Halo is coming to PS5 next year? Is it really? That's so crazy, man. It really is over for Xbox, huh? Like, Halo on PS5 is like crazy. Something that no one would have imagined just a few years back. Now, if only Zelda on PC official official Zelda PC port. It's the only thing I'm waiting on, chat. That said, you mustn't neglect your studies because you're visiting us. Well, not that I have any reason to worry about you in that regard. Yes, I'll be sure to remember. Well, actually, my hope with Lost Odyssey is that, like, it'll be like they make Xbox backwards compatibility come to PC since Xbox is over, and that will mean that, like, because Xbox backwards compatibility happens on PC, like, Lost Odyssey will be playable by default. That's my pipe dream. Yes, I'll be sure to remember. School life. Man, I kind of wish I got to experience that at least once. True, we only had school at church on Sundays, but I've heard the entrance exam for the Royal Academy are pretty difficult. Yeah, there's no way I'd pass something like that. It's not that difficult. I'm sure becoming a bracer is much harder than that. Especially at such a young age, I really admire you for it. It's not that big a deal, really. Even though we're technically bracers, we're still just junior bracers. We're currently traveling around the kingdom and working to become senior bracers. We'll stay here in Rouen for the time being. In that case, we might end up asking you for your help one day. The children would be thrilled to see you again, so please stop by any time. And there will always be tea and sweets waiting for you. That's the rumor for next gen, because Nextbox is going to be basically an overpriced mini PC. Yeah. And so in order for that feature to work, it has to work on Windows, right? So, maybe? Matron Teresa was such a sweetheart, wasn't she? Yeah, she really has a motherly, nurturing presence. She's just like a real mother to the children here. Oh, Siege, were you waiting for me? Yes, that's right. They weren't burglars after all. Their names are Estelle and Joshua. Can you remember them? Such a good boy. Wow, you can talk with him. I wouldn't say I talk with him exactly, but I can understand what he's trying to say. It's like communicating without words. Wow. You two must have a very deep bond. Yes, we do. Hello, Siege. I'm Estelle. Nice to meet you. Dude, he is massive. He could, like... He's as big as a turkey. Yeah, dude, he could, like, eat, like, chihuahuas and shit as big as he is. He rejected me. That's unfortunate. Hyrule Streams, thank you for the raid. How's it going? How are you doing today? By the way, you mentioned that you are heading to the city of Rouen, did you not? Hope you're doing well, man. We're going to change assignments to the guild branch there, or else we won't be able to take on jobs. Love your FF content. Oh, thank you so much, man. Appreciate it. I've been on the been to the Ruan branch a few times before. Would you like me to show you the way? Wow, really? That'd be super helpful. Are you okay on time? Don't you need to get back to the academy soon? I am. I received permission to be out for the entire day. As long as I'm back by sunset, I'll be fine. Great, it's settled then. Ruan, here we come. Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom on other consoles, please. I know. Nintendo would fight tooth and nail before that happens, but I would love it. And I know that Nintendo fans would not love it because they wouldn't want anything to ever come to another platform. But yeah, I would love it. That'll never happen, but I wouldn't mind. Yeah, for sure. It would never happen, but we'd all love it. Also, you say it as sick? Oh, okay. My bad, I've been saying siege. The more people can enjoy those games, the better? Yeah, always. Always want more people to be able to play games. Clem? Hey, it's the kid from before. My goodness, you shouldn't be playing around here. What if a monster attacked you? I just wanted to say I was sorry. I'm sorry I lied to you about what I did. Relax, I'm not upset. But I'm not the only one you wanted to apologize to, correct? No, it's just you. I know very well you have a kind heart. So why don't you just apologize? Okay, but only because you say so, Chloe. Yeah, I'm glad that SE stopped the exclusivity too, for sure. Now I just wish they'd bring like the Bravely games to, or Bravely Default Remastered to PC and PS5, because I don't know what they were thinking with that. They basically are continuing that exclusivity, it seems. I did something bad, Bracer Lady. I'm sorry. So you came to apologize to me. You're actually pretty sweet, aren't you? Don't get the wrong idea. I only did it because Chloe asked me to. And you're way too careless to be a real Bracer. You let a kid like me take your emblem. Isn't that embarrassing? He's kind of got a point, actually. He's kind of cooking. Bye-bye. You better train harder. I take it all back. He is not sweet at all. Now, he's just a little embarrassed. Besides, he wasn't wrong about you being careless, see? See? She is a little careless. In that sense, you do need more training, no? You're even less sweet than that kid, Joshua. You two certainly are close. You look like real siblings. Do we? And we're talking about who takes care of whom, I'd say I'm the older one. Hey, rude. I envy you a little. I don't have any siblings. That might be why I just love the atmosphere there. Huh? No, it's nothing. I guess she means at the orphanage, right? Anyway, shall we make our way? If we simply walk along the seaside way, we'll reach Ruan in no time. Okay, let's get going. Yeah, they basically like decompiled and recompiled the N64 Zelda games, which is interesting because supposedly they've done this for Xbox games too, like Sonic Unleashed, and yet no fucking Lost Odyssey.
The highway ends here?
Oh, we have to head down to the shore from here.
I just don't understand.
This chest looks good.
That over there is the city of Ruan. It's a well-known tourist destination.
Whoa, so we're finally there. My stomach's begging for some seafood.
We're not here for sightseeing, Estelle.
Let's see. Ah, somebody! Help! Oh no, Estelle. Yeah.
I'll destroy you.
Okay. I'm gonna start out strong.
Let's go.
You're still in just chatting on Twitch? Okay, we can change that real quick. see. There we go. I need someone to do it for Lost Odyssey. They made the tools open source too. Hopefully it's a matter of time. Yeah. I'm sure it requires a lot of work because I'm sure it's not like, oh, you just click a button and like decompile and recompile it. So, I just hope that someone fucking does it though, for sure.
Let us begin.
I don't understand how no one, I mean, as far as I know, even seems to be trying. But, yeah.
How's this?
I got your back, Estelle.
Okay.
Payback time!
Okay. Counter.
I'm going all out. Gotcha.
Flicker spam. Let's go. Chain.
Yeah. Faster. Let's go. Let us begin.
Roy Mustang, thank you for the super chat. You should check out the original first chapter when you can find time. Gung Ho's translation in the remake is fine, but the original XC localization is probably the best JRPG localization of all time. Oh shit. That's awesome. I see people talking about it a lot, and I need to find out like what the differences actually are. But hearing that is actually pretty cool. Thank you so much again for the super chat. I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, after I finish this, I want to do a deep dive on the first game and learn a lot, but it's kind of hard to when there's so many spoilers out there, you know? So kind of comes with the territory whenever like your first introduction to a series is through a remake and you have to like go back and figure all that out, so. Whole time I was playing this up to around where you're at, I couldn't wait to see the remake Ruan. Hope you dig it. Yeah. Thanks so much. Let's see, can I flicker spam in a way that makes sense? Yeah. Nice.
Joshua!
Yeah.
Okay, I was wondering if she did anything.
You're mine.
May your wounds be healed!
Thank you.
Okay, that's actually not bad. Fuck it. Oh yeah, because that basically breaks them whenever they're petrified. So you petrify and then you do that? Dang.
How's this?
Super OP.
Here we go! There!
Before they revealed Final Fantasy VII Remake years before the PS4 trailer, not the PS3 one, were you expecting cel-shaded anime look, or were you expecting something like FF17? Me personally, I always expected Final Fantasy VII Remake to look like Advent Children. Because I think the moment Advent Children came out, they were locked in and they couldn't do anything else. And I also think the tech demo, like combined with Advent Children, made it so they never had the option to be stylized. Like, let's just be real. I've seen some people argue that remake should have been stylized like the original, like, or like toward the original's look, but like, dude, there was just no fucking way. Like, once they put those out and people saw what FF7 could look like, they wanted it to look like that. Like, the fight scenes in Advent Children and all that stuff, dude. Yeah, there was just no way to get around it. I think if they did remake Final Fantasy VII and it looks like, you know, like a cel-shaded game or like an anime or like a manga aesthetic game, people would have rioted. They would have been like, this isn't what we wanted. They're like, we wanted it to look like Advent Children. So, that's all dealt with. Yeah, he's safe now. Are you hurt? Whoa, that was a close one. Almost became fish food. That's what you get for braving it all alone out here. What are you doing anyway? I do have a reason. A really real reason, but it's a secret. Well, whatever. Just don't wander around aimlessly out in the wilds like this. It'll be too late if you wind up as Shark Chow. Yeah, I know. Things got really dangerous today. I did finally save up enough for my part-time job. Alright, it's time to splurge. Anyway, what are you planning to do now? We could escort you back to the town if you'd like. No, I'm fine. I'm confident in how fast I can run. The monsters around Seaside Way are no match for me. See you later then. Thanks again. What do you want from FF9 Remake as far as the gameplay? As far as art style, as gameplay is rumored to be the same? Like, basically a more... I don't want to say professional, but like a more official version, kind of like what Moguri Mod looks like. Not Moguri Mod, Memoria Project, sorry. Yeah, I just want like a more official looking Memoria Project to be FF9 Remake, basically. I hope he doesn't get himself caught up in something dangerous again. FF9 can definitely be very anime, and it's okay, because I think that's what FF9 is. Ah, fuck, this is a trap case.
I see your move.
Yeah, because, you know, we don't have, like, we have the expectation that FF9 is, like, this game where it looks like that, right? And so we don't, like, really think, we don't, like, really sit and imagine, like, what if FF9 had, like, the more realistic graphics? There's no precedent for FF9 looking more different. But also, FF9 is, like, stylized in a way that FF7 isn't. And that matters to it more. I didn't mean to use Earth Lance. I thought I meant to use like the more powerful one. I'm not sure how to say your name. Claxton? Is that how you say it? Claxindi? However you say it, thank you so much for the super chat. Glad to finally catch part of one of these lives. This series surpassed FF and KH as my favorite series as of late 2020, though I'd recommend holding off a retrospective until after playing second chapter. Thank you so much for the super chat. I'm really enjoying it. I can see exactly why you love it as much as FF or KH. I think this series is so fucking cool. It's gonna be a long, hard wait for me for second chapter. Hopefully it won't be long. I'm hearing some people say that it could come as soon as like next year, so I'm really looking forward to that, dude. And looking forward to all the trails that I have to catch up on as well. So again, thank you so much. And I'll be streaming as much of the series as I can. Let's see. But I can only get these two. It's okay. You know, this is something that we kind of talked about on here before, but I'm also like, dang, if Square ever does go back to turn-based or FF, they got so much competition between this and Persona and like E33 and like I'm like, dang, they'd have to like come up with like a really good system in order to make the turn-based like really stand out, because standard ATB is not gonna work for sure, right? So they would have to come up with like a really aggressively new system that people have not seen before. And it had to be really cool and really interesting. And I mean, even like the Like a Dragon games, I feel like have like just done some amazing things in like the turn-based space. Really enjoyed what I played as 7, and so yeah, I'm like, dang, dude, they'd have to do some work to like really catch up. Did she just use fucking water on a shark? On a goddamn shark, sis? Did you just use water on a goddamn shark? Like, what the fuck?
Let's go. Too slow. Estelle.
Let's go.
Leave it to me.
I should have attacked then, right? Because he was stunned. I'm so stupid. Wait for a second chapter shouldn't be long. The issue Falcom have with prioritizing games gets out. Because JP fans will be waiting for 2 years, so for the next Trails game. Then there's E-Series, and they're still working on Zanata 2 as well. Okay, plus they want to keep pushing worldwide simultaneous releases. Next few years for Falcom are going to be exciting. Okay, cool. I got in at the right time then, I feel.
Gotcha. Faster.
Okay, at least that's useful, right?
How's this? There.
Do this, just take a strength down.
I'll show no mercy. Perfect move.
Okay.
Let's go. Too slow. Estelle.
Yeah. You're mine.
There we go.
Let's keep it up.
Nice job, Joshua.
Yay, skull pendant. Nice. Wow, wait, is she playing the original second chapter, or is she playing like the OG first chapter? Okay. That's pretty cool.
All right, treasure time. Yikes! Stay back.
Oh wow, the OG first chapter? That's crazy to do after this.
But we're tougher.
I don't want to fight that thing, dude. Oh, EP cut, nice. Let's get up here, and then I think we'll save really quickly. Oh, let's get these treasure chests first.
Treasure found.
Oh, nice. Where the hell is it? Oh, it's down there. How the fuck do we... Okay. So you completely locked in? Damn. That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, you know, the Trails games, the only thing about them is just that I think they needed the production values in order to attract a bigger audience, you know, because their budgets on these games are so lean. But I think that they finally have worked their way up to be able to make a game that looks and plays good, and that can actually get that like more mainstream audience. And I think we're kind of seeing that a little bit with this remake, where it's like this is the perfect jumping in point, and the game looks phenomenal and plays phenomenal, and so it's just an easier place for people to get in, you know? I think the games probably just have always been great. It's just that, you know, people are like, they really do care about the production values on stuff, and that attracts them into a thing. And so whenever you basically are able to get that, and they finally have, I think, and have that like big accessible title, you know, everything just kind of like lines up perfectly, right? So okay, I think this is like a good stopping point for today. I don't think we're gonna have any more FF7 or FF news for like for a while, so Monday and then next Friday we should actually be able to just focus on Trails. I'm gonna play a little bit probably off stream, but I'll try to keep most of it on stream, and that way we can actually like start getting through the series or getting through this game for real. All right, I love you guys so much. Thanks for joining the Yap session and for watching me play Trails. Love you all so